Razorbacks with an opportunity today to go for the sweep after claiming the first couple of games against OU. Should be a fun day of baseball. We bring you up to the booth. Aloha, Brett Dolan, Troy Eklund. Thanks for joining us. Arkansas had the easy win Friday. Really looked like the Sooners were going to get the W yesterday, and I know it was disappointing for them not to be able to finish it off.
Yeah, a couple miscues by Oklahoma defensively really allowed Arkansas to pile it on there at the end.
Let's take a look at our highlights from Game 2. The Sooners brought their big bats with 4 home runs.
Well, they really did. That's a really nice swing right there by Kyle Branch. Just hit an absolute rocket into the hog pen, and then Dayton LaChance hit one in the gap and split it. That was a 2-run RBI, and you felt like the Oklahoma Sooners kind of had things in control at that point.
Sure did, but in the 8th inning, the Sooners, the best team in the conference, turning double plays, could not do so, Troy, and then the floodgates opened up.
Well, that was the 3rd double play ground ball that the Sooners couldn't handle. That allowed 9 runs to come across for Arkansas. They really took advantage of those defensive miscues and really got on a roll. It
was a 7-run 8th inning that lifted the Razorbacks to the victory. Arkansas, in fact, has scored 12 runs in both games. A run rule victory on Friday. Came back from 3 down to win by 4 yesterday. And now in Game 3, Hogs are going to run out another left-hander. It's going to be Cole Gibbler.
Yeah, Cole Gibbler has been really consistent for Arkansas. For him to be successful, he's got to work the fastball down in the zone, and he's got to land that slider cutter. So for Gibbler, he is, you see the strike-throwing Gibbler. He does have some punch-outs almost every inning, but again, the ball's going to fly again today at Bum Walker.
Feels like that might be the case. Humid and overcast. The lineup the Sooners run out there will feature Walk, Johnson, LaChance, Willits, Gamble, Brock. Harris had a couple of homers yesterday, then Dickerson and Branch, and this is an Oklahoma team that has not attempted a steal this weekend. That is noteworthy for 2 games. See what we get this afternoon. The Sooners have fallen a couple of games below 500 in the conference race. Arkansas making a late push, possibly to host in the postseason.
Well, Brett, you talked about the Sooners really liking to run. Well, it doesn't help their cause having another left-hander on the mound in Cole Gibbler.
Gibbler ready to work. Game number 52 of this season, a 74-degree afternoon, and Jason Walk leads off. A couple of hits yesterday, scored a run for the Sooners. Oklahoma tied a season high 4 homers, out hit Arkansas 12-9, but came up a little bit short. So Gibbler and the Razorbacks are ready to roll, and we're off and working on a Sunday. Gibbler pitched against the Rebels last week, allowed 9 hits and 7 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Really, the big bugaboo was not covering first base on a ground ball to Rutenbar. And then some wind-blown home runs have been a storyline really for the last couple of weekends. So runners on base have been the enemy.
It really has. And I tell you what, Gibbler's not going to have any trouble picking up Ryder Helfrich with the cotton candy-colored chest protector and shin guards.
He shouldn't. It's a festive Ryder Helfrich. Pitches down to Walk. One final note, though, about Gibbler in that start against the Rebels. 1 walk and 9 strikeouts. So, Troy, even though he gave up 7 runs, there were some moments where he was really good in that stretch.
Yeah, I think so. And he's kind of a contact type of pitcher.
That one's blistered out to left for a base hit. Ruiz was playing deep. He'll fire it back in, and Jason Walk starts the game with a sharp single to left.
Well, that's what you want to do if you're the Sooners. You want to come out, let your presence be known early, and really get on the board and maybe try to get a little bit of a spread so you can really start running.
Walk with 13 stolen bases. Again, this team for the Sooners in triple digits in bags, and they're second in the conference to only Kentucky, who Arkansas will see next week. Here's Camden Johnson. But they have not attempted a steal, and it's only been the 7th and 8th games all season in which they have not attempted a steal. So we'll see if that might change. But we've been Camden heavy in this series as well. Johnson yesterday had a couple of hits, drove in a run for the Sooners. So for Johnson, Troy, it was his 18th multi-hit game. Camden Kojal of the Razorbacks had his 18th multi-hit game earlier in this series. So those guys have a little symmetry going with their names and with their big performances.
Yeah, it seems like when Camden Johnson shoots that ball to left center is when he is at his best.
Going to take a strike. Our plate umpire is Jeff Wright, done barbecuing, and now he's back behind the dish. And then it's Michael Phillips at first, Kevin Sweeney at second, James Ainsworth at third. We hope that if a ball goes over the fence, somebody sees it. We'll explain more in a moment. Or at least one person sees it in the crew. Casual flip to first, and Jason walked back in standing. Yesterday, Troy, we had the high sky, but the lights are on as we get underway, so it might be a little bit easier for those outfielders to see baseballs, but it doesn't mean they might not be flying or jumping this afternoon.
Yeah, it sure feels like it's going to be another high home run total for these two teams.
That's a huge lead for Walk. Pitches outside to Johnson.
And the thing that speed does, even if you don't steal, it's in the back of the pitcher's mind, and you try to be a little faster to the plate. Sometimes it's your accuracy on your delivery is a little different. Maybe you don't try to have that such a high leg kick, but speed really disrupts things.
Runners going. Helfrich with a sidearm sling. That's nowhere close, and Walk will get the base.
Yeah, great pitch to run on. That was a slider down and away. Really, the second Helfrich caught that ball, Walk was already over halfway to second base. No chance.
Sooners trying to create a little bit of their chaos early. There was some conversation, and you see the stolen base totals. Kentucky's gotten a little separation. Arkansas, top 5 in the league, but well behind the top 2. No swing. Johnson will take ball 4, so a good beginning for the Sooners. Single, a stolen base, and a walk. And it's going to bring up Dayton LaChance. And LaChance, Troy, had the ball yesterday in the first inning. We didn't see it. Radio didn't see it. Ruiz in left didn't see it. LaChance didn't see it. And our third base umpire didn't see it, who called it foul, before finally the plate umpire came racing over, and he kind of nudged his buddy to say it was a home run, James Ainsworth. We saw it several times. There was some confusion, but apparently it landed in the far right side of the bullpen where it was 35, 40 feet fair. New saw it in center the entire way. Ruiz told me today, he said, I never saw it. And when I talked to the third base umpire, he said, bro, I didn't see it either.
Yeah, New was yelling at Damian Ruiz from center field going, it's way out. Don't worry about it.
Don't sweat it. There was not much of an argument, but LaChance, we had a nice shot of him rounding third base, and he had his hands out, that universal sign for what just happened. I have no idea. But LaChance got the homer, so he's hit 7 now in his last 15 games.
I believe he's 5 for 6 this weekend. He is absolutely on fire at the plate.
2 walks, a double, a homer yesterday. Did strike out in the 9th inning against McIlvain, but he's a big part of this offense for OU. And after the Sooners defeated Florida last Friday in comeback fashion, they have dropped now 4 straight games. They'd like to change that. There's a dirt ball, and Walk got a good read, so he'll take off to third in advance. Johnson held at first. Here come the Sooners right out of the gates. But, Troy, when you've lost 4 straight games late, you're on that verge of being in that hosting conversation and trying to finish above 500. Those are agonizing games when they go in a different direction.
It is, and when you kind of shoot yourself in the foot, those are the tough ones to swallow. If you just get beat like what happened on Friday night, that's one thing.
1-2 from Gibbler. Stroke to left, hit a ton. Climbing back to the wall and beyond and into the hog pen. Second straight game, Dayton LaChance is home into the first inning. This one plates 3, and the Sooners off to quite a start on this Sunday afternoon. And for LaChance again, that is 8 homers in his last 16 games.
Well, Parker Coyle gave up an 0-2 home run yesterday. Cole Gibbler gives up an 0-2-1, and it's right down the middle. That's a fastball, belt high, and a good hitter like Dayton LaChance is not going to miss it. That is going to be a tough conversation for Cole Gibbler in the dugout of, like, why did you throw that pitch in that location?
It is a happy Sooner dugout right now. I mean, as disappointing as yesterday's game was, kind of turned a win into a loss late. To respond, Troy, with 3 in the first is a big-time effort, I'm sure, for OU.
Absolutely, and still no outs.
And Jackson Willits, cleanup hitter, the shortstop. Willits was 1 for 5. He singled in his last at-bat. You aren't going to keep him hitless often. Son of the offensive coordinator, if you will, Reggie Willits, former big leaguer and coach. Willits made the error on a ground ball from Malloy in the 8th inning that would have ended the frame with no damage done. Arkansas scored 7 And after the game, Skip Johnson said 100 out of 100 times we want that ball hit to that man.
Right.
It just didn't go our way, and that's baseball, I guess.
Well, hitting the ball as hard as Aloy did definitely had a factor in that play.
But you know if you get it cleanly, and that's strike 3 to Willits, Gibbler gets a high strike 3 for the K in the first out of the inning.
Yeah, this one might have been challenged if it was at the tournament. You see Helfrich try to pull that one down, definitely up out of the zone.
When a ball's hit hard to you, you know you've got that little extra time. You don't have to rush, but he just didn't get it cleanly. Anyhow, here's Gamble, another lefty, takes strike 1. Gamble 6th in the conference in on-base percentage. But yesterday he was 0 for 4 before he walked in the 9th inning. Well, for Gibbler, the task is now to kind of settle in and get some length in this outing. If you would have told the Sooners that they would have 5 homers and 1 stolen base this deep into the series, they'd be like,
yeah, are you crazy?
What happened? But I tell you what, there are some huge offensive numbers being put up around the conference, and we'll touch on that later on. We're talking about teams hitting 6, 7 homers in a game, and I think the weather's helped, but these hitters certainly have had their way in the last couple of weeks in a lot of these conference games.
Yeah, I think so, and you know, every year guys keep getting bigger and stronger, and I think just the scouting definitely helps as well when you have a pretty good probability of what kind of pitch could be coming and even what location.
Boy, that wasn't that much difference than the pitch that Willits had for strike 3.
Maybe a little bit more out.
Gamble really stands close to the plate. That's another strike 3 call. Back-to-back K's looking for Cole Gibbler.
Well, if you always want to know how your pitcher is going to respond after giving up a big home run. Cole Gibbler is just shaking that off. I think Helfrich might have stolen one right there as well. That might be 2 strikeout looking that the Sooners would have been challenging in the tournament.
Ryder seems to be racking up those numbers on maybe some stolen strikes. That one is smoked foul down the line by Brendan Brock. How often do you see a player in the course of a series catch game 1, play in the outfield game 2, and catch game 3?
Not very often, but
okay.
That just shows the athleticism of Brendan Brock.
He'd like a hit, though, this series. 3 times yesterday, he grounded out to Koschel at short.
Well, Gibbler is really working the upper quadrant of that strike zone.
Next pitch, again working at the belt for a called strike.
That was a cutter slider up in the zone. Now if he throws another one, you might see this end up around Brock's back foot.
You know, yesterday, Troy, he faced Parker Coyle, middle of the game. Those are 2 guys, both drafted by the Brewers last year, that both came back to school and then faced off against each other in an SEC game.
They could have been teammates in the minors
That's right.
this season.
Here's a 2-2. In the air, left center. Does anybody see it? New comes sprinting on. Waves off Ruiz. A little jump catch. And that will end the inning. So, Gibbler retires the last 3 that he faces after the first 3 scored, all on a swing from LaChance. Razorbacks have some work to do. Well, another left-hander in this series. Sooners are going to run out Cord Rager.
Yeah, Rager, you see the big-bodied left-hander has got a really live arm. He's going to sit 93 to 96 with that fastball. Really impressive with the 54 strikeouts in only the 42 and a third innings. And again, opponents are only hitting 207. off of Rager. But here's a big stat, Brett. He's given up 11 home runs in those 42 and a third innings this season.
Yeah, 3 of those came last week. 6 of the homers, Troy, have come in his last 2 starts in 7+ innings. It was a home run friendly day last week in Norman, and he got to pitch, or had to pitch. Arkansas's lineup will have Ruiz, Koschel, and Helfrich, then Aloy, Souza, and New. The Island influence moving up in the lineup there, 4, 5, and 6. Stewart, Pompey, and Rutenbar. Good to see Carter back in there after the bloodied nose and concussion protocol on Friday. Mike Anu, though, has found the power stroke here as of late.
I think he's starting to see the baseball up in the zone and not try to pull everything. You saw the home run to right field yesterday, and that's the one thing for New. Super athletic, but he definitely has power to all fields.
Here comes Ruiz. Damian entered the game yesterday with an incredible on-base percentage of .461, and then he went 0 for his first 5 before he singled in a run, part of that huge 8th inning. At one point, going into the 8th inning yesterday, Arkansas had a total of 3 hits. The Sooners ran out everybody in that bullpen, and they were in a position to win again. But for the most part, what they held Arkansas to was kind of a bizarre game. Arkansas was willing to take their walks, but they had a ton of strikeouts. And over the course of the afternoon, they were in double figures in both categories. 11 walks, 12 strikeouts from Oklahoma's pitchers in game 2.
Yeah, it just felt like the Sooners were dodging a bullet on the walks, but it was those not turning the 3 double play ground balls.
Huge.
Really came back to bite them.
And for a team that had turned 24 double plays, most in the SEC, it was baseball again, I guess. Just strange things happening. Rager's pitch is fouled back and out of play. Rager, 3 starts ago for that man, Skip Johnson, threw 5 innings of 1 hit, no run baseball against Missouri. But again, his last couple of starts, 4 runs, 6 total homers. And the pitch to Ruiz is just outside or off the corner. Tell you what, I see that 99 in a pitcher, and it kind of gives me the willies. Mitch Williams, Spencer Strider, guys that were 99. Doesn't quite look right, does it?
No, it doesn't. It looks like a spring training game.
Mitch was the wild thing.
Mitch ended up almost in the coach's box in the third base line after each pitch, being left-handed.
Maypearl, Texas native, the freshman, Rager. And Ruiz will hit a soft liner to a leaping third baseman Johnson for the catch and out.
Yeah, the fastball's been really good by Rager. That one was up to 95 on TrackMan, and you could tell that Ruiz, with 2 strikes, just didn't get that barrel head out.
Going to face lefty and Camden Koschel, who yesterday walked 3 times, struck out a couple of times. Had 3 hits and a grand slam, though, on Friday. And Koschel takes a little bit outside. I mentioned yesterday he was one of the finalists for the Tony Gwynn Service Award around college baseball. And I did mention to him he's going to have to save a life or 2 in the next week if he's going to win over Stanfield. He said he was a teammate of Stanfield in the Cape. Born brave. Ball and a strike.
If Rager can keep landing that slider cutter, man, Arkansas is going to have a tough time this afternoon.
Koschel fouls one back and out of play. Saw Koschel's parents here last weekend, and I said to Camden, you know, how do they manage that with your battalion of younger brothers and sisters? Well, he only has one younger brother playing baseball.
Okay.
His older brother in high school is a linebacker who's being recruited. And then he said, make sure you tell Arkansas's coaches they need to recruit him. So Coach Silverfield, there you go. But listen to this. He had a cousin, Troy, named Tyke Koschel, probably about, I don't know, 9 years or so older than Camden, that played football at Kearney, Nebraska.
Okay.
Division II. Listen to this. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
Bring it.
He was the second player in college football history to have more than 600 career tackles. Those coachos like to hit people. They like to hit baseballs as well, and it's going to carry out to the track in left center, but the catch is made, and there's 2 outs.
600.
That's an 11-game season. So Tyke, who actually got to go to the Philadelphia Eagles training camp after he finished his D2 career, had more than 600 career tackles with Nebraska Kearney. I mean, that's basically making every other tackle for 4 years.
Yeah, that's insane. I think that's the epitome of having a nose for the ball.
I think you're right. Ryder Helfrich, next man in. All Ryder did yesterday was walk 3 more times. First to 50 in the conference in walks. So you see the OPS, batting average a little bit below 300. 8 of those homers have come in conference games. He also had a single and also scored a run, part of that long 8th inning. So Arkansas had a game this series where they didn't play an 8th because it was a run rule. Then they have a game where they score 7 in the 8th with a 12-run output in both contests. But today they're down early after that home run from LaChance in the top of the first, and Helfrich waves and misses.
Looked like ball 3 for Helfrich after that swing. He was pretty disgusted with himself of offering it that pitch.
Well, both of these pitchers, Troy, working up in the zone here in the first.
Well, Cord Rager has got a really live fastball. It's got a lot of carry to it. Almost feels like it picks up a second gear about halfway to the plate.
Helfrich hits one high in the air, down the line and right. Harris into the corner. This will be fouled up there on the landing. That was to the right of the pole, but incoming on Mackey's bases loaded landing. Did somebody get the baseball? Hey, a little hustle up there wouldn't hurt.
Not enough young kids up there just scurrying after him.
Good pitch. Strike 3. Rager carves up some Razorbacks in the bottom of the first, with the Sooners off to a good beginning in the series finale, a 3-0 lead. Good beginning for OU.
Yeah, I think if you're Cole Gibbler, you just want to try to hold this lead to 3.
Deshaun Harris has enjoyed Baumwalker Stadium. Started the game yesterday with 1 homer on the season. Before it was done, he was up to 3. Quickly down to the count, 0-2.
Yeah, the fastball inside and a really short swing by Harris. And he shot a couple balls out to right field that were just absolutely rockets.
Able to spoil that breaking pitch.
Gibbler's got to lock in right here on 0-2. Hung one to LaChance, and he did not miss it.
Another 2-strike pitch. Not close.
Ryder Helfrich kind of pointed to the ground in front of home plate, saying, hey, don't be afraid to bounce one right here.
Gibbler's retired 3 straight after the 3-run homer. I know OU again wants to snap this losing streak and get back in the win column. They have that home series that's in Oklahoma City next weekend at Bricktown against a Tennessee team that's doing some damage. That's a swing and a foul tip into the glove of Helfrich. 4 in a row and 3 strikeouts in this stretch for Gibbler.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be one to face the Volunteers right now. They've won the first 2 games against Texas. This is a nice high fastball by Gibbler, and you're right. Both these pitchers have been able to be successful with the elevated fastball, but it's not the one at the belt. It's the one, more at the letters. That's the tough one to catch up to as a hitter.
Here's Drew Dickerson, the DH. Skip Johnson was quoted in the paper after the loss yesterday talking about his team bouncing back. He had an interesting quote, and one that I guess deserves some mention. He said, I don't know if they, meaning the players, understand what winning and losing is. He said, I don't think 18 to 22-year-olds understand what winning and losing is because they play video games and they just reset. You can't reset baseball. And he's worth several minutes of great baseball conversation, but I know he has to be pleased with at least how they've come out today if they haven't been able to fully reset.
Yeah, if they didn't have some spring in their step, they sure have it right now after the 3-run bomb by Dayton LaChance.
Fouled back 2-1.
That's what your leaders do. Your leaders step up when needed the most, and I think, yeah, you're right. Oklahoma really wants to scratch out a win here on the road at Baum-Walker Stadium.
It's interesting, though, as far as maybe not fully grasping maybe what it takes to win or what it takes to win series. I do think that's where leadership comes in, veteran players. Lifted a mile in the air to right center field. This ball's got a little bit of carry, and New is going to run out of room, and it's off the scoreboard and gone. Drew Dickerson able to elevate and celebrate. Off the bat, I wasn't sure if he had enough, but indeed he did, and it's a 4-0 Sooners advantage.
Yeah, 35-degree launch angle on that swing, and Arkansas fans and even Arkansas outfielders are so used to balls like that just getting knocked down by the wind, but really good backspin on that one allowed that thing to carry 395 feet, so it easily cleared that 365 marker out there in right center.
That's a happy Drew Dickerson. Kyle Branch, the second baseman, next in. But don't you think, Troy, I won't say ignorance is bliss, but sometimes when you're not wearing a loss, I do think there's a little bit of benefit to that too.
I think so. Yeah, sometimes you just don't dwell on it too much, and that is one of the beauties of baseball. You usually get to play the next day.
That is softly lined to Pompey at third. It's a wonder he didn't dive and was on the ground by the time that ball was still trying to get to him. It was so softly hit.
Yeah, off the bat it looked like it was smoked, but 72 miles an hour, and sometimes it's nice to have a 6'3" third baseman with some long arms to be able to get to that baseball.
Turns this lineup over for Jason Walk, who singled and scored in the first. Cincinnati Reds went through a 7-game losing streak this week, and Terry Francona was going to pose that same question. He said, listen, I'm happy we're able to play the next day. If I had to sit on this for 48 hours, I'd really stew. But, you know, I get to come out the next day and play. And Sooners have come out today and put up the first 4 runs in this game. And there may be many more, but if you're going to win the race to 10 or 12, you'd like to be in the lead, I think.
That's right.
Be the first to start accumulating?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the Sooners do with the 4-run lead and when they get some guys on base, especially those base stealers. I think they're going to just keep that foot on the gas and see if they can really put extra pressure on not only the pitcher but that Arkansas defense.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Coming into this game, the interesting part is that both of these teams, Sooners and Razorbacks, were hitting .277, the exact batting average. Tied for 10th in this conference. Is that on the corner? It is. Gibbler, the K, rings up Walk. Inning is over, but Dickerson's homer makes it a 4-0 Sooners lead through an inning and a half on a Sunday at Baum-Walker. Couple of Hawaiians and one who was a father from Fiji/Australia. So
yeah,
all the
we got some
influence.
island culture working in there.
It's been Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month around the Arkansas campus. A lot of Vahiva Aloy celebrations with a record that we'll talk about later on, a bobblehead, and Kuhio, who homered in all 3 games last weekend, would like to get off the schneid a bit this weekend. Did walk, drove in a run, scored a run. Yesterday, he blisters one to right. Ho-hum, another 110 exit velo. Troy's batting average had dropped down to an even 300, so pushes that back up north. But a little bit interesting because we've seen him really be on a tear as of late and came in batting cleanup this afternoon.
Well, I think that's just a great sign for Arkansas fans and Arkansas staff when you see Kuhio Aloy stay on the baseball and hit the ball up the middle the other way. When he starts doing that, then he gets really scary at the plate.
His father, Jamie's going to join us in a couple of innings, give us an update on Vahiva. Here's Nolan Souza, going to take strike one. Souza, by the way, has the best batting average on this team in SEC-only games. Has 2 home runs. I'm sure he would like more, average of 278, but in SEC games, 295. So explain that, Troy.
Yeah, that is locking in when he needs to and when the games really matter. But the thing that Nate Thompson's really been working with Nolan Souza on is trying to get that barrel head out on that middle to in pitch and try to pull that down the right field line.
Souza did have a single, a walk, and an HBP yesterday, but his single again came in that 8th inning when Arkansas did almost all of its damage. And what Dave Van Horn told the team after the game is that when you hang around on days you're not playing well, you've got a chance. When you don't allow that deficit to become too large, and obviously Arkansas would like to hang around a little bit today, and OU would like to find separation, but I think there's something to that late in the year when the ballpark is more offensive friendly, and you've done it a few times before.
Yeah, I think so, and that's the big thing for both these teams is when you have that opportunity to kind of bury a team, you need to.
It's something Arkansas a few times this year hasn't done, put teams away. In Oklahoma, while they kept scratching and taking the lead against the Razorbacks, they didn't quite put them away either.
Yeah, the defense has been so solid for the Sooners, kind of let them down, but again, they can just turn the page and flush it, and it seems like so far that's what they've done.
Souza with a late swing and a miss. A little bit indecisive, it appeared.
That's a couple really bad swings on breaking balls by the Razorbacks. And
are they not seeing that?
Cord Rager, I don't think that they think that they're going to see something with that much spin, but boy, those are the Helfrich half swing, and that was a very defensive 2-strike swing right there by Nolan Souza.
Almost like the plane in which that pitch drops. Here's Mike Anu, 4 hits and a couple of homers this series. Matt Jones did a great job in the paper today talking about Mike Anu in what he has done in the month of May. Last year, he hit 11 of his 15 homers in 13 games in May.
Wow.
In fact, he has 33 career home runs, does Mike Anu, between 3 stops. 18 of the 33 have come this month. So maybe he wants it to warm up so he can warm up.
I guess so. That is just getting on a roll.
Ended the game on Friday with a run rule homer. Shot one out off the building and right yesterday in the 2nd inning against a pitcher who had given up 1 homer all season. But Matt put out a tweet that in 34 games in his career in May, he's hit 18 home runs.
That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make a lick of sense, at least to that level. In the dirt, knocked down by Brock.
Yeah, when you're down 4 runs, you can't afford to try to get an extra base if you're Kahua Loy out there. Rager really going to a lot of off-speed pitches against Mike Anu right here.
It's amazing when you're a starter in Game 3 and you've watched the first 2 games and you've seen what has transpired with Arkansas scoring 24 runs or new homering in both games, how it might affect your game plan just a bit.
Yeah, I think so. And then that also comes from the dugout and Skip Johnson calling those pitches. But, yeah, you know that Rager's got, some input on that as well, too. Has the ability to shake off a pitch. A little surprised that they've been picking over as much as they have with Kahua Loy, which is really not a threat to steal.
There's that pitch again. Downward tilt. A swing and a foul tip into the glove of Brock for a K. That's 3 strikeouts for Cord Rager.
Yeah, again, taking a little something off that. That was a cutter that, man, just absolutely dove right under the path of the swing path of Mike Anu. This is big for Oklahoma if Rager could go deep into this ball game. They used, feels like, I think 13 pitchers up to this point. They lost a couple yesterday to injury, so they'd love to see him go 5, 6, maybe even 7 innings if his pitch count stays in line.
I would agree. As Stewart steps in and takes a strike, they had not one but 2 different pitchers forced to exit the game because of injury. One might have been an oblique, one an elbow. I think that was Stevens. And this late in the year, there's great concern when you lose a component from your bullpen, let alone 2. And I know Stevens hadn't pitched this year.
Right.
But he was also a guy who had a lot of at-bats as a position player. 14 pitchers used. I think they had 16 last weekend against the Florida Gators, with several pitching twice. Zach Stewart yesterday had the 2-run double for the biggest blow in that 8th inning. Stewart went into that stretch 4 for 29 when he had the double.
OU's outfield is definitely playing no doubles or deep all the way around.
Although he had the leadoff single, he's not moved. Wave and a miss. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout after that through Souza, New, and Stewart. Cord Rager looking good early. So are the Sooners, trying to avoid a sweep in the finale. Sooners have been stuck at 30 wins and 12 in conference play for longer than they would like. Troy, that strength of schedule keeps ticking up a notch or 2, and the RPI keeps decreasing.
Yeah, I know they really would love to, get a win here today and maybe sweep next weekend and get in that conversation like Arkansas about potentially hosting. But again, I don't know if I would want them to be coming to my regional as a 2 seed.
Sooners really want to get out of here with a W. A 4-0 lead for OU, and Camden Johnson leads off. Heart of the lineup again for the Sooners. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. They recognize the mothers here at the ballpark between innings over the public address system.
Even the coaches' moms. That was pretty cool.
During the Arkansas pregame introductions, they would say son of and read off the mother's name for each of the starters and then the coaches. Camden Johnson walked and scored in the first. Does have kind of that laid-back Sunday feel, though, to this game this afternoon. And with a 4-run Sooners lead, that's helped keep this from being a little bit too rowdy. Speaking of rowdy, though, we got to thank Hognoxious, Troy. He brought us not 1 but 2 beer hats up to the booth.
Yeah, that's awesome. We appreciate that. I'm sure he's got a whole, chest full of of beer hats.
We were talking yesterday that we didn't have any beer hats, and then lo and behold, today we do. I also don't have a Lexus, and I don't have just
a pile of money, a
right.
pot of gold.
As Johnson takes ball 4, but nonetheless, appreciate the thought. We're picking up some gear this week. We got the Hawaiian Heat. What is it, a 33 record that was given away in the Vahiva Alloy bobblehead? And Cole Gibbler giving away a base there on a walk to Johnson, and Helfrich will head out to the mound.
I think this is a conversation of, hey, I know you have, it hasn't been that long ago, but do you remember what this guy did to a fastball that was right down the middle last time? So you got to hit your spots. The thing that really impressed me about Dayton LaChance was his double yesterday to right center field. I mean, when you see a big power guy that can, really hit the ball out of the yard and they start shooting the ball the other way, that's when they're really locked in and not trying to do too much with a pitch. You try to pull an outside pitch, it's probably going to be a ground ball to short.
Sommer in the first was his 8th in 16 games.
That's going to do it for Cole Gibbler.
LaChance will not get to face Gibbler again. 50 pitches for Cole. His day is done. DVH bringing the hook. Step aside, come back with the new Razorbacks pitcher and a 4-0 Oklahoma lead. Series to recycle a pitcher from earlier. In fact, yesterday, Steele Eves threw an inning, and he's right back out there this afternoon.
Yeah, gave up 1 hit. only threw 12 pitches yesterday, and you always like to know different guys that can go back-to-back days without any issue. And according to Matt Hobbs, Steele Eaves is one of those guys. So some guys get even stiff after throwing 10 or 12, 15 pitches, but Eaves is able to bounce back, and they need him to keep this game in check because you've got a guy with great speed at first base and Johnson and red-hot Dayton LaChance at the plate.
Yeah, the hit he gave up yesterday was a 2-run double to LaChance in the 7th inning. The 2 inherited runners scored. Oklahoma took a 7-5 lead on their way to an 8-5 advantage, and then Arkansas won 12-8. So he's facing LaChance again, who homered in the first against Cole Gibbler. Talked a little bit about LaChance yesterday. Played for Skip's son, Tyler Johnson, at McLennan, the junior college in Waco that also produced DVH. And Tyler has since moved on to DBU, but LaChance a year ago, 21 homers, 104 runs batted in for the Highlanders. Got a little wiggle there. Did we just have a balk?
Yeah. That's big. It takes away the double play ground ball.
I was watching the Clue Haywood wiggle from LaChance. He's swinging his hips around, and it was Eaves who apparently moved. That's a pitching coach who needs a moment. Yep, that'll do it.
That's a flinch.
That is a flinch.
That's where you keep going and come set and then step off.
I blame it on the pitch com, Troy.
Yeah, threw him off. Maybe it cut out mid-word, and then it made Eaves freeze a little bit.
That takes away a double play, puts a runner in scoring position. See if LaChance does this wiggle. Remember Clue Haywood from Major League when he would step in there? Look, there we go. He's going to do it again, I think.
Think about those hips.
He was swinging for Razorback Road.
Does his stance and where he holds his hands kind of remind you a little bit of Aaron Judge?
I thought of that yesterday. I think anytime you get a hitter that really extends with his hands away from his body.
Yeah.
Maybe right there, he's got a little circular motion. There's some of it. He can then squats before he truly gets ready to go to work. Think about a guy who didn't have a homer a couple of weeks ago and then is sitting at 8 now. It's been a big lift for this OU team.
46 RBIs don't hurt either.
That's why he's batting in the heat of this lineup, right in the middle. You put him between Johnson, who gets on base a ton, and Willits, who's an experienced veteran hitter. Gives the Sooners a chance to build some length. Certainly what Deshaun Harris has done at the bottom of the lineup this weekend has contributed as well. That's down in the zone. 2-1.
I don't think he's going anywhere, but Camden Johnson's getting a huge lead out there at second base. And with his speed, anything to the outfield, he doesn't need it to score, but I think he's just trying to get in Steele Eaves' head a little bit.
Maybe, but I'm with you. As deep as these outfielders are, even a rocket to an outfielder wouldn't discourage them from being able to cut you down at home plate. They're just too far back.
You can see that LaChance is getting a lot of respect for pitches that aren't even really competitive. There's a look at the outfield. There's no chance of throwing out Johnson.
Knew extremely deep in center. Hitters count for LaChance. 3-1 pitch. Fouled back.
That's a guy that really wants to hit. That's a pitcher's pitch. Slider down and away.
First batter that Eaves is facing coming on in relief of Gibbler. 3-2 pitch to LaChance. Hard hit, base hit. Johnson had to hold up to make sure that ball got through, and he'll still score without a throw. Just our point we made a moment ago. LaChance drives in another, and the Sooners have a 5-0 lead.
And Dayton LaChance is absolutely on fire at the plate. His balance has just been exceptional. Been able to keep those hands back on a breaking ball down. That's just hard contact. This is 101 off the bat. That's not a bad pitch. But no chance for Pompey because that thing was scorched right through that 6-hole.
So Johnson held up, almost froze, and then was still able to score easily on that base hit. So the Sooners now looking for a little more. And Jackson Willits, who struck out looking in the first, down in the count, 0-1. Eves left that a bit up in the zone, but it was over the inner half and fouled away again.
Well, if you're Arkansas, you really feel like you need a double play ground ball right here and just try to put some outs on the board.
I would think with Eves up there as a sinker baller, a ground ball pitcher, that would be the most desired, a chance to start to turn this inning around to the momentum. Instead, that one is pounded to center. New retreating, ballpark should hold it. He'll make the catch on the track. Willits made pretty good contact, just not quite enough, and that is the first out. A little bit like the fly ball that went to the fence off the bat of Brock that ended the game yesterday that was caught by New.
That is using the entire park right there by Steele Eves, but the Sooners have really made solid contact today.
Trey Gamble struck out looking also in the first. My goodness. Cutter Rutenbar made the best play of the game just to keep that throw from hitting a spectator in the first row of the seats on the pickoff from Eves.
Again, you've got a guy at first base that has not attempted a stolen base. Why are you throwing at 99 over to first base?
I mean, if you throw that ball in the seats, you really have to shake your head on what's going on.
Yeah, that's just one of those not thinking. And sometimes pitchers do that to kind of get a reset, but, boy, you don't have to throw it that hard to first base.
Knocked down by Eves, able to pick it up, collect himself for a second, retire Gamble. He even peaked at second base, but that wasn't hit very hard, 70 off the bat, but it was right at Eves, who was just trying to survive and not let that ball go up the middle.
I wasn't paying attention to see where Souza was playing, but sometimes you wonder if those balls that are knocked down by the pitcher, if that's going to be a double play.
That grazed his body first or just his glove?
I think it's just his glove.
What I like about that, Troy, and I know I always talk about getting the lead runner as Brock fouls one away. Sometimes your adrenaline is so amped up that if you turn to second base, you might throw it to Micah New.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably Ryder Helfrich coaching Eves up right there and yelling in his ear, hey, just 1-1-1.
Fisted out to right. Stewart will come gliding in to make the catch. Retire Brock and end the inning, but the Sooners get another run. Another RBI from LaChance. 5-0 OU through 2.5. Conference tournament will be here soon, and Troy, the unique aspect this year will be that the ABS, the ball strike system, will be instituted, and my goodness, will that be entertaining.
Yeah, I think so. I had a little conversation with both Nate Thompson, the hitting coach of Arkansas, and Matt Hobbs, and said, hey, who gets to be able to do those? And they said on the pitching side, only Ryder Helfrich can challenge the catcher, but on the hitting side, they said we want to be selective on those. If it's a situation, a high leverage situation that can really change the complexion of it, not just a random, pitch in the first inning.
All the hitters have to be measured, though, when they get to Hoover. T.J. Pompey measures this pitch, skies it out to right center field, hit well, back to the fence, and it's going to go. A home run for Pompey. His 8th in conference games, number 13 on the season. Razorbacks needed something to go in their favor, and Pompey starts it with a solo homer in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Boy, Brett, you talk about just getting out. That ball was hit 373 feet. It's 365 out there to right center field, and I thought Harris had a real shot at catching that baseball. I think I almost need to see that one again to see how close it is. He probably almost looked like he kind of cut that baseball a little bit.
Here's Rutenbar, takes one high for a ball. So the home run from Pompey means that Arkansas has hit 17 homers now in their last 6 SEC games, counting today.
See how close this is to being caught.
I think he needed one more step to get to the fence.
So.
Big wave and a miss from Rutenbar, but the ABS will be fun in Hoover. It'd be interesting to see if a team can get on a heater and win 4, 5, 6 of those challenges in a row to keep them with their full inventory.
Yeah, I think so.
Greg Sankey said in a press release, the introduction of the challenge system at the SEC tournament reflects our continued commitment to innovation. I think a lot of people wondering, does this mean it's leading to the possibility of using this in the regular season next year or soon?
I think so. It's a rule change year for the SEC.
That's an uncomfortable wave and a miss from Rutenbar.
That's been about the 4th or 5th one that Razorbacks have.
You're right.
Just looked very uncomfortable.
Rager's had some movement. He's had some good stuff. I know he liked that pitch back to Pompey, but nonetheless, trying to get through at least 3 innings in a bit of a rocking chair, and that will qualify. That is now 5 strikeouts through the first 9 Razorback batters.
Yeah, that's somebody that's really dealing, and Cord Rager does not look like a freshman on the hill right now, and a lot of coaches say, hey, this time of the season, nobody's a freshman, but he is looking really good. I'll tell you what, in this type of game, solo home runs I do not think are going to beat you unless you, like, give up 5 or 6, but
here's Ruiz, softly lined to Camden Johnson at third, who made a diving grab in the bottom of the first, and he will wear one for the HBP and a base runner.
That is the 6th batter that Cord Rager has hit this season.
Is that the breaking ball that he just missed on?
That was something really slow, because that was a curveball, not the cutter, because there's only 80 miles an hour, and that's why it had so much more movement.
We'll see if the Razorbacks, second time through this lineup, have better success. Kosho flew out to center his only time in. Best batting average at home games for any Razorback at .331.
That's that same pitch he threw again right there. It's just big time sweep, that slow curve.
Kosho's got the pink batting gloves. Ruiz did not have a very big lead. Arkansas had a handful of players in double figures in stolen bases, which is different than years past. In Arkansas, even though they're far behind Kentucky and Oklahoma in that category, been able to pick their spots to run from time to time. They're 5th in the SEC in team stolen bases, but down by 4, and on a day in which I don't think we have seen the last of the long ball. May keep the teams a little bit more conservative when it comes to running. Regardless, now Rager is fighting it just a bit after hitting Ruiz and missing to Kosho, and he comes right back with a fastball for a strike.
It seems like the fastball is the pitch that Rager's really been able to command so far. And again, I'm still trying to understand, like Damian Ruiz, he's getting a pretty decent lead out there, but then hopping backwards. It's like you almost rather have a shorter lead and have your momentum going towards second base.
Tend to agree. Kosho with a soft pop-up. I don't think Brock sees it, but he didn't have to move far and able to make the catch. It took him a second or two before he located the baseball. I thought Johnson from third might come down the line, but it helped out Brock. He didn't have to go far to chase.
Well, I think you're right, because Camden Johnson was on his horse. I think he kind of saw that Brock didn't gauge that one very quickly, and you're right. He almost could have stood still and just would have come back to him.
Helfrich struck out looking in the first. He, like Kosho, has 15 homers. 8 of his home runs have come in conference games. Smokes one hard in the left for a base hit past the diving shortstop Willits. Ruiz, a hard turn at second, will hold there as Gamble plays it back in. And a couple of runners on base for Kuhio Illinois.
I think Helfrich had the really bad 2-strike check swing strikeout against Rager in that first at bat. I think he was sitting on something off speed, or that would look like the cutter at 87. And the Oklahoma outfield playing exceptionally deep, except for left field.
Aloy sharply single to right in the second. It's not a competitive pitch from Rager.
Just seems like every at-bat, Kahil Aloy gets more and more comfortable in that batter's box, and the confidence just continues to build.
Does he have an even bigger, aggressive bat waggle over that shoulder?
I think so.
Calms it down right before the pitch.
I don't know if that's something to get his adrenaline up. I don't think anybody, he doesn't need his adrenaline hyped by any stretch of the imagination. This is going to bring a visit by Skip Johnson. Like, this is a really good move right here by the Oklahoma skipper.
I mean, Skip has to feel like if Rager retires Aloy, his team is in a really good spot. Kahil gets a base hit, a double, an extra base hit. Who knows? The Razorbacks start to win back some of that momentum that Oklahoma built with a 5-0 lead that's now 5-1.
I think this is a conversation to say, hey, it's a walk is not the worst thing in the world. Just don't leave one out over the plate with a guy that's got tremendous power. It's almost like how dangerous Dayton LaChance has been. You know, Kahil Aloy kind of has that same type of threat at the plate.
Maybe he was looking for that reset he talked about yesterday post-game.
One pitch at a time, right?
One pitch at a time. Augie Garrido, one of the best that's ever done it. He's a head coach in college baseball, taught him that all those years together at Texas. Rager's 2-0 pitch, wave and a miss. A pick at first base and a chance to retire Helfrich. And LaChance caught it and applied the tag. Ruiz had ventured far off second base, but Brock looked to first and picked off Ryder. And the Razorbacks may have wasted an opportunity to cut further into this deficit. Normally it's Helfrich doing some damage behind the plate, throwing out runners. This time he was the man picked off first base.
That was a really athletic play over there by LaChance. Yeah, Ryder was reading Damian Ruiz at second base, and heads up play by Brock, the catcher. And again, as a catcher, sometimes you see that guy so far off first base, and you might throw that ball down the line in right field, but kind of stayed contained was Brock on that throw.
7, 8, and 9 to up this inning. Deshaun Harris will take a high breaking ball from Eves. 5-1 Sooners trying to avoid the sweep here at Baum-Walker. Arkansas shifting on Harris after a strike with Koschel playing on the right side of second base. It's fouled back and on a play. Hey, Matt Jones from the paper came in to the booth before the game and let us know that Dick Hughes passed away at the age of 88. First former Arkansas baseball player to win a World Series title. Passed away on Wednesday. There's a ground ball foul outside of first. Troy Hughes back in 1967 was maybe the best pitcher for the best team, as Matt worded it. Won 16 games for the St. Louis Cardinals. Pitched a couple of games in the World Series opposite Bob Gibson. And there were two different National League Rookies of the Year. One by the Sporting News. That was given to Hughes, and then Tom Seaver won the other.
Wow. That's pretty good company.
Dick Hughes, 88, passed away a couple of days ago. Matt does a great job keeping us updated on all the comings and goings of Razorback baseball. But 29-year-old National League Rookie of the Year, and I guess the writers knew that Tom Seaver wasn't going to be too bad either.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Matt Jones does a great job with those nuggets.
We love our nuggets. We love our stories. Little chopper foul wide at first. He did a story on Christian Turner that I was talking a little bit about yesterday, and I'll get back to it some point about his walk-off, which was a week ago, and then taking us back to Houghton High School in Louisiana. I didn't know until today that Houghton High School is where Dak Prescott went to school.
Oh, wow.
And Christian's father helped get a big donation for a football scoreboard. So I think Christian's father was maybe a middle school football coach for Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I mean, the Nuggets are flowing now,
That's
Troy.
where you've got to claim all his talent. The middle schools where he learned how to be a great quarterback.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Harris. Eves working the bottom of the zone, but he misses.
It's just been a great at-bat by Harris.
I'd say so.
A pair of home runs yesterday, and you can tell when somebody's really locked in at the plate and they know as soon as that ball leaves the pitcher's hand that it's not going to be in the zone.
And a wave and a miss. Eves gets the K. Start the 4th inning.
Probably one of the better breaking balls by Eves, and really got those fingers on top of it to really get that top to bottom depth, that break.
Got a little Kenny Lofton in him.
Yeah, I like that comparison.
Drew Dickerson had a home run to right center off the scoreboard back in the 2nd. That was against Gibbler. Does he have another one? Skies one out to right. Stewart looking for room along the track will make the catch. Didn't hit that ball well, but there have been some, I won't say miss-hit, but some non-squared up home runs over the last couple of weeks in this ballpark.
Yeah, the ball is really kind of carrying out to right field, and again, it just does not feel like a normal Baum Walker Stadium. But I tell you what, if you like the long ball, you need to be here this weekend.
We tend to agree. Old Glory's softly moving out there near the building and left. Kyle Branch, the batter. Line to third is only time in. Takes strike 1.
But he hit a bullet home run yesterday to left center field.
He did his 2nd. He came in with 1 and homered. Harris came in with 1 and hit a pair. Ground ball to third. Pompey's got it. Inning is over. Eves is retired 6 in a row. Hawks still have some work to do. Coming to bat in the bottom of the 4th. Down by 4.
Down in the dirt, so.
Well, Cahillo is going to lead off this inning. He was at the plate in the bottom of the 3rd when Helfrich was picked off. So he's back up now with a fresh count to begin the bottom of the 4th inning. I know you weren't here last week when he hit the long home run. Your wife was, but what were you doing in Hawaii when he hit that ball?
I was watching the game on television, and I didn't get a good view like the people did here, but yeah.
There's a chopper to short. Willits will glove it and throw out Aloy to begin the bottom of the 4th inning. Jimmy, we talked to you a year ago when Vahiva was having his amazing season. You come to this ballpark, you see the fans wearing the Hawaiian shirts and the leis and celebrating your son. What does that mean to you and your family?
Oh, it means a lot to us. We're so grateful. This whole weekend, I'm just walking around thanking the people here about embracing our culture, embracing our sons. And, you know, not every day, every parent get to experience something like that somewhere.
There's Nolan Souza, and he'll foul one away. Give us a Vahiva update. I know it's been a nice month for him.
Yeah, he's doing well, embracing the life of a minor league baseball player and learning again, because it's like starting from scratch again. It's nothing like college baseball, and yeah, you know, he's understanding the business part of it. So, you know, as much as he wants to play every day, he's not. You know, everybody's going to get their fair share of their days off because it's a job, and you know, he's trying to have fun, you know, doing it. So, still, you know, he's chasing his dream of playing in the big leagues one day, and you know, he's going to make sure nothing stands in his way.
Jamie, what have you seen out of the last couple weeks out of Cahillo and just his comfort level at the plate and his ability to kind of lay off pitches out of the zone?
Well, I think a couple of people had conversations that were or have been important that had to have been had for him so that he can slow the game down and, you know, just basically be in control more of what he can do and, you know, trust his abilities and go out there and have fun. So I know he put a lot of pressure on himself, especially coming back to a big school, you know, without his brother. And, you know, it's hard to perform when you know, put more on you than you should. So, you know, we waited too long, I think, to have that conversation. And, you know, obviously it took him in the wrong direction for a little bit. And, you know, it's just I'm glad to see him back on his feet.
one thing I really noticed is just his body language at the plate, his confidence level. It seems like even pitches that are outside the zone, he's even almost motioning like, I know that pitch is out, I know that pitch is up, and it just seems like he's a completely different hitter this probably like last 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, when you start embracing things that you maybe have ignored because it's every day and it's part of the grind, and then you realize what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing. Things, as hard as it is to play this game, it'll get a little bit easier for you to play this game once you start embracing those things. So I think it's some of that, and some other things, and I'm sure his brother not being around has partly to do with it. So yeah, it's so much variables these days. I was just telling Vahiva, I said, what, I think the league got better, the SEC, and it'll continue to get better. So it's not, you come out one year, you have a great year, and it's not necessarily saying you're going to come out the following year and have a great year. I see a lot of kids had great years last year, and they're continuing what they did last year, and then I see some of them, they're struggling, like what Kuhil went through, and not only him, but some of his other teammates. So
we're going to come right back with Jamie. We're going to step aside and come back with him in the top of the 5th inning. It's a 5-1 Oklahoma advantage. This was Jamie yesterday. He was going to try and sneak away a shorter first pitch, and his son said, get back up on top of that mound, and he almost got it to his son. I saw Vahiva put out a picture on socials yesterday of exactly that, the hug between father and son, and Jamie's been with us up in the booth. He, of course, was drafted by the Giants in his day. But first of all, tell me about the bobblehead. Did it look like Vahiva when you got your bobblehead?
Well, I watched Kuhil's video. He didn't think so a little bit, but you know what? That's amazing. To get your own bobblehead, I don't care what it looks like, with your name on it and everything else, like the jewelry, the tattoo especially, the Golden Spikes trophy.
That was outstanding.
It's hard to top that.
Now, of course, Vahiva did say he didn't feel like the smile was right because he doesn't really smile that much, and he told that to DVH, and Dave said, I know, I coached him for 2 years. Kind of a serious guy. We got a new pitcher as well as we go to the 5th inning. And Walk, the leadoff hitter, steps in. Troy, Arkansas has gone to the bullpen now a couple of times.
Yeah, they're going to go to Cooper Dossett. There's the bobblehead of Vahiva. The sunglasses are spot on. I'll give you that. That's really good, and the hang loose sign as well.
Shot out to right field. Stewart will come on, slide, and make the catch, and that's out number 1. How familiar are you, Jamie, with the Hawaiian Heat record that was given away on Friday, the song?
I'm familiar with the group Kaval Music. Again, we're so grateful that, well, first of all, the team here in Arkansas is just amazing. For them to reach out and put something like that together for my son or for this baseball program, for the people here, it's just amazing.
There's Dossett's numbers. He'll retire the first one that he faces, and then Camden Johnson steps in. Well, the lyrics of the song, locally produced, were on the back of the record, the 33, and I was getting a kick out of it, and I printed them off because Troy is going to read the chorus.
Oh, no. That's got disaster written all over.
You're going to start right here, Troy.
Oh, man.
And the pitch is a strike over the inside corner, so I'm going to give you another 15 seconds, and then I'm going to let you read the chorus. Now, I want you to really create a little feeling here. Don't just limp through it. I want you to give it a little feeling. This was given away on Friday night, the Hawaiian Heat song, after the 1-1 to Johnson. All right, Troy, give it to us.
All right. When it's time to go, we so dangerous, respect the game, and no playing.
With us.
W-I-D, with us. That's really good. You'll feel the sting. It's so venomous. I'm going to have to let you have the rest of that.
You know it's time to go. That was shot to the left for a base hit. Boy, Troy, I was hopeful that you might really be able to kick it in, but clearly, you didn't even get to the Bash Brothers coming. We see the fire in the eyes. We ain't gone. No, we ain't going to take no. I mean,
I have
that was
no
a pitiful
rhythm.
effort.
Jamie. That's a 0 on a 1 to 10.
No, you did pretty good.
You're too kind. You're Hawaiian nice right there, letting Troy skate for that.
Only from Hawaii.
As Dayton LaChance will bat, he has hit a 3-run homer and an RBI single. Sooners leading 5-1 in the top of the 5th inning. How many times do you think you or your wife have traveled to Arkansas over the last 3 years from Maui?
Well, last year it was like almost every other weekend because the two boys were here. The year before, at least a handful of times. And then this year, maybe less than a handful of times.
You know the route pretty well.
Yeah. If you ask me, I can tell you exactly what plane to catch, what flight number it is, what time it leaves, what time it lands, where.
Hopefully you're building up some frequent flyer miles and be able to use a few of those.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Going to have to use a few of those to see Vahiva as this summer progresses. Meanwhile, this game still within reason. Maybe a ground ball double play here. There's one. Throw to first. In time. Double play. Jamie, thanks for joining us. Best wishes to your boys going forward.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. To my wife, happy anniversary.
Well said.
Love
Happy Mother's Day. We'll step
Jamie.
aside. Still 5-1 Sooners. Golden Spikes winners when they come back, even though their sons are done playing, but
really
Arkansas
cool.
needs some offense.
They really do, and you wonder for Arkansas, can that double play ground ball kind of transfer some energy to the offense?
Stewart struck out in the second. Remember, it was Christian Turner who had the walk-off last Sunday. Pitch carries outside for a ball, and DVH toyed with the thought it is Swatters' club that maybe Turner might get a chance to start, saying sometimes when you have a moment like that, it's your time until it isn't. But Stewart has started this weekend, senior weekend, and I caught up with Christian's dad yesterday and had a wonderful conversation up from Louisiana. And apparently DVH went to Turner this week and said, hey, have you ever hit a walk-off homer and then not started the next game? And he thought about it, and he goes, no. And then DVH said, it's about to happen.
Oh, no.
As Stewart fouls one back and out of play. But the problem is, of course, Christian a left-handed batter, Stewart a left-handed batter. So, Troy, at times Arkansas is pretty left-handed heavy, and they have seen their fair share of southpaws. In this one, Cord Rager doing a really nice job.
Yeah, and you've got Kahil Aloy starting to swing the bat better. Boy, that's a great bounce back by the freshman Cord Rager. He gets down 2-0. You've got a 4-run lead. The last thing you want to do is walk the leadoff man, and he throws a fastball that Stewart can't catch up on, and then a great breaking ball right there. And he's got him set up.
Stewart will hit a big, high, soft chopper that'll stay fair. Easiest play that LaChance will have all afternoon. And that's 4 in a row set down after that pickoff of Helfrich that ended the third inning.
Boy, just what the doctor has ordered for Oklahoma after so many pitchers that they've used in the last 2 ball games and a couple that went down with injury, which is terrible. You hope those guys are okay. But the freshman Cord Rager is just mowing Razorbacks down one after another.
His only blemish was the homer this man hit in the third inning. DJ Pompey, 13th of the season to go along with 13 stolen bases. So there's some symmetry there for Pompey. 8 of his 13 long balls have come in SEC play, including the homer he hit in the bottom of the ninth to walk off Mississippi State in his first SEC at bat and game.
Again, Arkansas has just got to try to find a way to get on the base paths and maybe try to get a crooked number home run out there to call their way back.
But I'm with you. Rager came in probably knowing that it was going to be important for him to have some success early and length, considering the number of pitchers that were used yesterday and really over the last couple of weekends. And sometimes that can go one of two ways. When you really understand it's important to be efficient and effective, it can go sideways. But for a freshman to come out and do this to this point, I think has been encouraging for Oklahoma.
Oh, 100%. I think you just have to challenge Pompey right here, and if he hits it, he hits it. You just definitely don't want to walk him.
3-1 pitch, fouled back and out of play.
That's Pompey sitting on a fastball, getting one, and still not being able to catch up to it. It was 91. It wasn't like the electric 95, 96 that we've seen out of Rager, but it was great location, kind of up and away, and just missed the barrel.
Another foul ball. One thing Arkansas has done over the last couple of weeks, Troy, is the number of home runs they've hit when it's been 7, 8, 9 pitches into an at-bat, including what Turner did last week. It's happened a handful of times already this weekend.
Yeah, I think so. And it just shows just kind of the grit and determination of these Razorback hitters.
It does become a mano-on-mano battle. And here we go with Pompey fouling off pitches. I guess as a hitter, you feel like you've seen the repertoire over the course of this AB.
Yeah, I think so. And those have been some really good slider cutters by Cord Rager down in the zone. Great location. You're not going to get hurt. That's all you can do is just pound that thing into the ground if you're TJ Pompey.
Pitch number 69 for Rager. And Pompey will keep staying alive.
That was right off the fists. It'd be interesting to see how close to his hands that pitch hit the barrel.
Well, the fans, who have been very quiet today, getting a little bit more invested in this at-bat in this sequence. With the pitch timer at 2, Rager will deliver, and he wins the battle. Gets Pompey to go down on strikes. Boy, the freshman wasn't going to give in.
Well, the fastball was at 91 miles an hour, the ball that Pompey fouled down the right field line. That had a little something extra on it. That was 94 in a great location. You could see he just threw that one right by TJ Pompey.
Is that 6 strikeouts now?
I believe so.
Rutenbar was one of those looking in the 3rd inning. That is a soft ground ball, almost in no man's land. Someone has to cover first. Nobody did. A trio of Sooners were in the vicinity. Troy, who should have taken that ground ball?
You know, I don't know if anybody had a real shot at it. It almost was like a drag bunt for a left-hander. It just was in the perfect spot, no man's land. I think if you're the first baseman, LaChance, you've got to try to go get that baseball. And what happened is Rager kind of, first of all, he spun it a full 360, and then he kind of started running toward the baseball and didn't have a direct route to first base.
When you're talking about a chance, though, on a really softly hit ground ball at 57 miles an hour to get it out in the inning to keep that pitch count low, you feel like it's a wasted situation, because now the frame continues, and we'll see if Rager can retire Ruiz to end this 5th. That might have been a shattered bat if Rutenbar was swinging wood and not the metal. But out of that, he gets an infield single, Arkansas's 4th hit. Hogs only had 3 hits all game going into the 8th inning yesterday, which was bizarre because, again, they received 11 walks and struck out 12 times.
Yeah, it was a really weird feeling game for Arkansas. And you're right, up to that point, the Sooners are really shut down Arkansas's offense.
Fouled back and out of play. But as Dave told the team post-game, and all of his messages to the team after wins are recorded and posted to socials, he said when you hang around long enough, you give yourself a chance late. I don't know if Arkansas is hanging around yet, but they're within striking distance. But Rager's trying to limit some of those opportunities, shorten the game. That one, a foul ball, just about took out a few Sooners in the dugout.
Well, I'll tell you what Rager has done, especially with 2 strikes, is he has missed the middle part of the plate. It's breaking balls down. If he wants to elevate, it's the fastball up around the letters, and he's got some really good carry with that fastball. So that's how Arkansas is really struggling offensively. There's that fastball up right there.
Ruiz was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning.
That was the 76 pitch, and it was 95 miles an hour, 96 on TrackMan. That was a little something extra.
Ruiz came into this game having reached base safely in 16 straight games.
Again, if you're a Carter Rutenbar, 1, you can't get picked off. 2, you can't. It's got to go to the backstop before you advance a base.
Ruiz will chop one foul again outside of third base. two-out infield single by Rutenbar has kept this fifth inning alive, and Ruiz trying to reach as well. Kojal on deck. And now the count has gone full. Been somewhat of a quiet crowd today on this Sunday afternoon. Ruiz trying to give Razorback fans something to cheer about. Rutenbar set to run on the payoff pitch. And that is ball 4.
Wow.
Boy, that two-out infield single has complicated matters for the Sooners and Rager. That's a long at bat that ends up in a walk. And let's see how close this was.
Wow.
That looks like strike 3 to me.
I don't know how Ruiz takes that pitch. And you could tell Brock, the catcher, is thinking that was strike 3, and so did Cord Rager. He was about halfway to the plate going, are you kidding me?
I mean, that's a fastball in the zone on a full count. Kojal popped up behind the plate to Brock, the catcher. We have a timer violation. We did. I think Rager's upset that he didn't get the sign or signal.
Yeah, he said, hey, let's get this sped up.
That's his head coach, though, on the PitchCom device. So you hit the automatic ball for Kojal, then you miss again. All of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, it's 2-0.
Yeah, that hurts. You got a veteran hitter up here that definitely has power to all fields.
Well, if another Razorback gets picked off to end an inning,
Dave Van Horn's going to lose his mind.
He may go into orbit. You wonder how much Rager's just irritated with that Rutenbar infield single, too.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely got to be in the back of his mind.
I mean, this is 10-plus pitches since.
Not very often have we seen a Razorback get turned loose on 3-0 with the wind blowing out to right field. And I'd love to see Kojal be able to take a rip at this pitch, but I doubt it. As a pitcher's pitch on the outside corner.
We're getting to the point where the Sooners have had to get some activity rolling in their bullpen.
Got a right-hander and a left-hander going down there for the Oklahoma.
Kojal taking and looking at another strike. Now both of the runners, Rutenbar at second, Ruiz at first, will be able to leave early on this payoff. There they go. Here's the 3-2. Hit high in the air, right center field. Well struck, back to the wall. Goodbye. Camden Kojal with the 3-run homer. And the Razorbacks right back in this game. This inning could have been over a long time ago. The infield single, the walk on a really close pitch. And Kojal on a 3-2 offering hits his 16th home run.
Boy, that was a fastball right down the middle, almost a little elevated. Kojal, probably the best guy on the Arkansas team to get backspin on the baseball, and that one, he just backspun that one out to right center field. About 417 feet, 107 off the bat of Kojal.
Boy, if you're Oklahoma, you've got to be a little bit shaken because this inning could have been a 1-2-3 quick frame with a 5-1 lead.
Yeah, like you said, the swinging bunt and then the walk that I think both of us thought was strike 3 to Ruiz. And, man, you need to get a long ball.
Helfrich singled in the third, was picked off at first by the catcher, Brock, to end the inning.
Is it me or does it seem like that a lot of baseballs, like Helfrich almost feels like he's cutting the baseball. A lot of flares down the right field line on pitches on that outer third. A lot of pop-ups to that side as well.
We've talked about him trying to be able to drive balls to right center, right field at times. Maybe some situations overdo it just a bit. You wonder how much longer Rager's going to be in this game because, you know, even after the walk to Ruiz, he had the pitch timer violation to Kojal to start that at bat.
It was just 3 different things that kind of shook him a little bit. I think it was the swinging bunt, then that walk that should have been strike 3, and then the pitch timer thing.
Helfrich fouls another one back and out of play. Up to 89 pitches now for Rager.
I think this could be his last batter if Helfrich gets on either way.
Is this 3 straight hitters that have taken the count full?
I believe that's right.
Helfrich will wave and miss. That's the K to end the inning. Kojal had one big swing to allow the Razorbacks to pull close.
Again, after the swinging bunt by Rutenbar, the walk to Ruiz, Camden Kojal, a no-doubter out to right center field, and that is a big swing for Arkansas. They're just hanging around, Brett.
Familiar face. Todd Butler is on the staff at OU. For 8 years, he worked under DVH from 06 to 2013.
Yeah, he head coached at Wichita State for a while. Just a really great guy, and he's excited to contribute to this Sooner staff, and tremendous baseball knowledge by Todd Butler.
Says when he's done coaching, gonna move back to Northwest Arkansas and live here. As the Sooners have seen their 5-1 lead down to 5-4, but that man's seen a lot of baseball, and what does Skip tell us? He knows all of DVH's secrets.
Yeah, his wife Melissa is great, and a couple girls that are in Dallas. That makes it kind of nice when they have to travel to one city to see both kids.
Most daughters raised here in town. But he brings that SEC recruiting experience to a team that's been in the league for a couple of years. Dossett in his second inning of relief misses high in the count 3-0. I mean, Troy, it is different from the Big 12 to the SEC. You could probably spend days talking about how it is and it isn't, and the caliber of players and the depth of the teams. And that is high ball 4, a walk to Willits. But you could see where Skip Johnson wants a guy like Butler to be on his staff.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, when you've recruited at that level, you kind of know what you're looking for on those SEC type players, and that's going to do it. DVH is going to go with a left-hander right here. The base on balls when Arkansas kind of scratch back is not pleasing the head skipper for the Hogs.
Arkansas has used 3 pitchers so far. It's about to be number 4. Tell you about the new left-hander with some Oklahoma ties when you come back. Troy, that was Colin Fisher back in January, who was already looking forward to this series in May. And it took him 2 games and about 6 innings to enter, but I bet he's juiced up to face the Sooner.
I think he is as well, too. A guy with really good command, and really for not being overpowering, a strikeout an inning is pretty impressive by Colin Fisher, but only the 14 walks. And again, with the way the ball's flying, Fisher better keep that ball down against these Sooners with some pop.
He inherits a base runner in Willits who walked. So Coyle pitched against the Sooners yesterday. Fisher this afternoon facing Trey Gamble, who is 0 for 2. Starts with strike 1.
Gamble's not afraid to stand close to that plate. Even a pitch down the middle almost looked like it was going to clip him.
Gamble, though, has not had a hit yet in this series. He would like to change that. Fisher, the 4th different Razorback pitcher so far in this game. Goodness.
That is a self-defense check swing. That was up and in.
Trying to get out of the way.
That's frustrating as a hitter. You're just trying to self-preservation, and you get a foul ball.
Rutenbar, self-preservation mode as well over at first.
Little unusual scoop by Rutenbar. Didn't turn that glove over. Kind of just trapped it.
Fisher to Gamble. Socked out to right, but traveling to Stewart. He'll backpedal and make the catch. Just shy of the track for the first out. And yet, Willits is able to tag and advance. What a heads-up base running decision. We haven't seen the Sooners stealing many bases this weekend, but you can still be aggressive running the bases.
Well, Stewart was backpedaling, and he did not have a firm throw into Souza. Nobody told Nolan Souza the base runner was going to second base. So 2 different Razorbacks had no idea that the runner was going to tag up. That's a great move. That takes away the double play. Now you got a guy in scoring position.
Yeah, chance for a base hit to start building a lead again. And that one propels away from Helfrich. So Troy, in a matter of 2 pitches, he's advanced from first to third.
That's just great baseball by the Sooners. Now for a guy, and Colin Fisher likes to keep that ball down in the zone, kind of makes you think twice. And Arkansas is going to bring the infield in right here in the 6th inning. Very interesting.
Brock has 41 runs batted in. He's hit the ball in the air 2 times today. I'm sure he'd like to do that again, but Fisher snaps off a good one for a called strike.
If you're Ryder Helfrich, you got to take a peek every time before you throw that ball back to the mound.
Vanderbilt tried to steal home yesterday on a pitch that was strike 3 to be the 3rd out in extra innings.
Wow. At Missouri?
Yes. Post fog and mist. Another one hit in the other right field. Stewart is back. He is at the fence waiting for this one to come down, but it's up off DVH's office. Brendan Brock, his 10th home run of the year. That ball just kept drifting and ended up being a 2-run Sooner bomb.
Off the bat, you just didn't know if it was going to carry out, and it was way out.
I'm with you.
Upper deck. It went 375 feet, but
Troy, off the bat, I thought it had a chance, and then all of a sudden it's rattling around in the top level.
Well, the wind was really starting to whip out there to right field. That's a pitch that Colin Fisher's normally down around the knees, and that was about belt high. And no doubter out to right field. Huge home run for the Sooners.
Wasn't it ever? And Harris, who struck out twice, coming off his 2-homer game, bats with the bases empty against the lefty. Fisted out into right center field. Well, this ball dropped. Souza chasing, but it does drop. Stewart fell down. Souza as well. New picks it up. That was in no man's land, and Harris gets the base hit, the bloop, to right center.
That's just one of those hits that's going to make up for one you score. It's just look like a little chip shot, like a wedge out there into shallow right field, and it ricocheted off of Souza's foot.
Look at hogs down everywhere. Well, Dickerson homered in the 2nd. A solo homer off the scoreboard in right center. Tell you what, Rutenbar is like a hockey goalie at first base. He is just throwing his body on everything that comes in his direction, hoping that it doesn't get by him. This is one of these situations, I know it's left on left. But if you're the Sooners, do you push the issue a little bit here? Harris has been caught just 1 time while swiping 12, and
I think
he's trying to measure the lead. I'm curious. I think I might be willing to try and do it if you feel like the times to the plate from Fisher on a slide step give you a great opportunity. First couple of games of the series, the 7th and 8th all season for Oklahoma, where they didn't attempt a base. Called strike, fastball over the inside corner.
I think at some point you just got to try to go on first movement with the speed of Harris. You got a freshman first baseman that's not his main position.
Kojal way off the bag. He'll draw a throw, and Rutenbar tried to slap the tag down on that helmet.
This is one of those situations that you really like a left-handed first baseman because the slap tag is so much quicker than a right-hander trying to kind of reach across their body.
Softly fouled back and out of play.
See, the thing that Fisher does good, one, he has a good move. Two, he does a good job of changing those looks.
Makes sense.
Like he'll look twice sometimes and he'll go one. He does not fall into a pattern.
And that's really key when you're not 95, 96 to the plate. Just like that, he's looking home but flipping it first. Harris back and diving. Is there any benefit for Harris now having seen a couple of moves to time him up?
I think so. I mean, I think you try to be aggressive right here and just go off first movement. I don't think you try to read him. Just, oh, that's Helfrich calling timeout. Nope, that's the hitter.
Everybody back in and ready to go. Pitch finishes down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dickerson, the DH for the Sooners.
The only thought process is the wind is really blowing out, and you can see the ball is definitely flying out of the yard here, so those crooked number home runs are sure nice.
Yeah, Koshel's bomb was worth 3, and that's why it felt so impactful, turning a 5-1 fairly comfortable Sooners lead into a 5-4 contest. But Brendan Brock has answered with a 2-run homer this inning, and flag drifting out towards right field, so I don't think we're done. Now Harris will run, wave and a miss, sidearm flip down to second base, not in time, close. Harris gets the bag. Dickerson will K, and there's 2 outs. Troy, is Ryder throwing sort of sidearm just out of expediency, or is that a little bit what he's been doing lately?
Yeah, I've seen him do that on a lot of throws in between innings, and it's got a little bit of tail. I don't think that Souza ever made contact with the tag out there at second base. I think Harris was going to be safe anyway with that great speed. But, yeah, it is a little unusual because that ball kind of has a little bit of a tail on it as it gets out there to second base.
We tend to think you would not be quite as accurate. Tell you what, you don't want to wash those pink items with any of your whites, or it's not going to turn out well. You don't throw that chest protector in with that white uniform in the washing machine. Think about Helfrich, Troy. He's caught every game but 1 this season. We understand what a demanding position it is, but for him to be that durable where you don't occasionally take a Sunday off or maybe a midweek game, it's been really amazing.
It really has, and it has not affected his performance at the plate either, which is exceptional.
But he's a great typer because he doesn't have to look at his fingers to type when he's got that PitchCom device working. Harris is going to try and steal third, and he picked a great pitch to run on. Sooners have tagged on a fly ball to right field, stolen a couple of bases this inning. And the count 2-1 to Branch. Really got to believe Fisher and the Razorbacks don't want to see Harris score this inning. Start building that lead back that Koshel's homer chipped into last frame.
A lot of conversations over at third base between third base coach and Harris.
Harris getting a huge lead down the third base line. Lifted in the air to center field, should be playable for New. Micah's underneath it, he will make the catch to end the inning. So Harris will be stranded at third base, but the Sooners got a couple of runs, I should say, on the homer from Brendan Brock, able to send one to the balcony on the building in right center field. And the Sooners have a 3-run lead. Play will begin soon with Runes and Berkey. Only one of those hasn't muddied our booth here in the last week. Meanwhile, Trent Collier on to pitch in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, another power arm out of the Sooner bullpen. You see his numbers right there. Really impressive with the 26 Ks in the 20 and third innings, only 8 walks. He'll sit 92 to 95 with the fastball, the slider, and the changeup as well. Opponent's hitting 253 off the left-hander.
Inherits a 3-run lead as he pitches in the bottom of the 6th inning to Eloy, Souza, and New. Trujillo bounced to short when his dad was up in the booth with us back in the 4th inning. Singled in his first at bat. Troy has been getting texts about his musical prowess, reading the lyrics to Hawaiian Heat. So I'm going to give him one more chance.
No, lack thereof.
No,
I might have to veto that.
Because I think you need a little staccato rhythm. I mean, you have to read it as if you've got a little vibe, a little flow.
I have no musical ability.
This is where you need to improvise. You need to summon some of your ability to be a musical genius for the Hawaiian Heat song that was written about the Eloys. It was given away on the old 33 record back on Friday. That one ripped to left, hit a ton, back to the hog pen. Kahia Eloy has another home run. Number 9 on the season. Ball jumped out of here off his bat. What a way to great Collier. And it's a 2-run game. Bash Brothers coming.
How about 112 off the bat of Kahio Eloy, and just a little one at bat late for Jamie up here in the booth, but you know he is doing some high fives and has a big smile on his face. Just
don't leave a pitch there to Kahio.
Wow. He admired that one a little bit, kind of carried that bat down the line. To it, there's not many guys in college baseball that hits the ball as hard as Kahio Eloy does.
That's a happy fan out there in the hog pen. Sousa's 0 for 2. All right, Troy, give it one more. Give it one more.
I'm vetoing. We're gonna have mic problems or something.
You flopped over Wittes. Got to feel the sting. It's so venomous. You know it's time to go. Bash Brothers coming.
Yeah, you got words that are spelled funky. That just threw me off.
I told producer Kira each of the last 2 days we were going to make her laugh or scream, and I think we have equally done both.
A little bit of both.
She's so happy this baseball season is about to come to an end. Producer Caden emailed it in about a week ago. He was checked out. Sousa takes one down and in. The question is for the Razorbacks, though, between last weekend, this weekend, it'll move forward to Kentucky as whether they can play themselves into a hosting possibility. It looked like they were in a bad spot going into the bottom of the 5th inning, down 5-1. Then it became 5-4, 7-4, now 7-5. I wonder if Oklahoma's having some flashbacks to their game last Sunday in the 5th inning when they were hosting the Gators. And that is ball 4. So not what Collier wanted to do. The homer to Eloy, and then the single, or the walk to Sousa to put him on. And Mike Anu and Zach Stewart will have a chance to try and continue to do a little more damage.
That did not take long for Skip Johnson. He was already motioned to the bullpen, and we're going to see another arm for the Sooners.
Sooners beginning that barrage to the bullpen. 7-5, Oklahoma leading bottom of the 6th. A big spot in this game for a big dude coming out of that Oklahoma bullpen, 6'7", Mason Bixby.
Yeah, big shocker that the Sooners are going to bring out another power arm. Bixby is going to sit 95 to 98 with the fastball. Throws a slider and a changeup as well, kind of over-the-top release. Opponent's hitting 250 off the big right-hander, but what about this stat? Right-handers are hitting 343, lefties only 095. That is pretty crazy, and 70% of his outs are fly ball outs, and that's not a good equation the way the ball's flying out of Baum Walker this weekend.
TCU transfer, Lady Bird Johnson High School in San Antonio. Mike Anu, the batter. I mentioned that maybe Oklahoma having some flashbacks to last Sunday. Troy, in the game against the Gators in the 5th inning, their pitchers hit 4 batters and gave up 4 homers and an 8-run inning that flipped the game and the series to the Gators. Well, it was a 3-run 5th today, but a run already in the 6th. I was watching that game on my iPad driving across Kansas, and I wanted to drive off the road.
Oh.
I can't imagine what the Sooners were thinking in the middle of that frame. 4 hit batters and 4 homers in an inning.
That's tough. That's shooting yourself in the foot and then some.
And New will take a strike. He's 0 for 2. Kuya Aloy homer to start this inning. His dad texted me and said both brothers have homered for their mother today because Fahiva homered in a minor league game.
Very nice.
So there you go. Micah New has homered in both games of this series. He chased that one, though.
That's a dandy slider right there by Bixby. And I'll tell you what, for a guy that's 6'7", he is very quick to the plate. Almost kind of like a slide step delivery. First of all, Arkansas is down 2 runs, so Sousa's not really going to be thinking about stealing a base, but with that quick delivery.
That's really quick. What a pick by Brock.
Wow.
Tell you what, if you're talking to those Arkansas base runners at first, you wondering about the moves of these Sooners pitchers. That's Hudson Polk, the first base coach, who played for both Oklahoma and Arkansas.
That's right.
He's invested in this series. Sooners looking for an out. Don't get one, and the count has gone full.
It seems like the best pitch that Bixby's had so far that New really hasn't been able to figure out is that slider down and away. So if you're Micah New, you've got to see that pitch up in the zone.
Almost expect that pitch, don't you?
I would think so.
Oh, goodness.
That was a cross-up for sure.
It's a wonder that didn't hit Jeff Wright between the eyes.
I was thinking the exact same thing. That is Brock thinking that's going to be a cutter slider.
Isn't that the whole point of the PitchCom device?
I would think so. He goes, "Can you hear?" He's not. He said he can't hear.
Well, that might explain it. The whole point of that PitchCom is that you don't get crossed up on the signals.
Well, when you see a catcher not catch a baseball, you can see that ball was past Brendan Brock before he could even think about it.
That's 95 right by an umpire's ear. I think that's what Jeff Wright is saying.
He's like, hey, you guys get on the same page.
Make sure you get that PitchCom working. I don't want any more of that.
Still no outs in this inning after the home run and a pair of walks. And it felt like that Mason Bixby kind of had Micah New right where he wanted him.
And then it turned. Well, Collier wasn't very effective, and he did not last long. I'm beginning to think Bixby might be in a similar spot. I didn't even get the words out of my mouth, Roy.
I tell you what, you don't have to think very long and hard. When Skip Johnson comes out, he takes about 1 step, and then he motions to the bullpen.
Bullpen broke down late for the Sooners yesterday, and Arkansas took advantage. This one's shaping up to be interesting as Nate Smithburg is on his way into the game. Sooners are going to try to mix and match now with their bullpen and try and hang on to a lead. But a homer to start this frame, a couple of walks as well. So we're on our third pitcher of the inning. It's Nate Smithburg, who pitched yesterday. Now he faced one batter and struck him out. That batter was Zach Stewart, who is the batter he is going to face now with a couple of runners on base.
Yeah, that release point, you really don't see many left-hand side armors. And Zach Stewart, I tell you what, when you have to face a side armor, you have to kind of think, hit that ball the other way.
Troy, in this scenario, you've never heard me say this. Ever. Would you be content just to poke it down and put it down? Only because this left on left may not benefit you numerically. I mean, watch Stewart hit one off the scoreboard. We'll see. He saw 3 pitches and K'd from Smithburg yesterday. That's part of my thinking and equation. Comebacker that's deadened It's going to be bobbled, and Stewart's at it first. Two different Sooners had a chance at it. And Troy, if Smithburg gets it cleanly, that's going to be a double play. But then they were almost fortunate to get Zach Stewart at first.
Yeah, off the bat, I think that's going to be a base hit. Smithburg misses at the bobble by the second baseman, Branch, and that's a heads-up play by Branch to kind of stick with it and not panic too much. But it resulted in
the same
like
thing.
a bunt.
You're
yes.
right. Because both runners move up. First baseman LaChance is going to creep in on the grass. And Smithburg is going to stay in to face the right-handed pitcher or hitter in Pompey with Rutenbar, the lefty, on deck. And this is a scenario where Pompey represents the go-ahead run. I don't think necessarily are you thinking about working around him, but you want to make sure he does not hit a hitter's pitch with a lefty on deck. And that's two in a row that have not been close.
Well, here's another crazy stat. Smithburg, right-handers are only hitting 250 off of him. Lefties 385. But also 75% of his outs are fly ball outs, which is really interesting.
Stroked out to left. Then is going to drop for a base hit. Sousa will score. New heading to the plate. He will score. TJ Pompey with the single to tie up the game at 7 apiece.
Well, Brett, both those runs right there were walks. That's a great swing by TJ Pompey and a huge read by Micah New right there. He was moving right there. Pretty strong throw from Gamble out there, but just too much speed by Micah New.
Troy, I've talked about this over and over. Sometimes in that situation, you saw LaChance playing in. You toy with the idea of playing your infielders halfway or in. But when you continue to play your outfielders back near the warning track, anything is going to score a couple of runs.
Yeah,
if you're thinking about cutting down a runner, you have to change your alignment.
At some point, I would rather take a chance on maybe stealing a line drive or coming in to be able to catch a line drive. If somebody smokes one and hits one over my head, so be it. They've earned it. But I want to try to take away some of those line drives and
or maybe force that runner to make a decision on scoring or holding a third.
That's right.
Oklahoma has had leads of 5-1 and 7-4, but it has disappeared.
How about both teams having 7 runs and 7 hits?
Identical totals across the line score. Ground ball to second. Can the Sooners finally get a DP? They will. A 4-6-3 twin killing. So Smithburg gets the double play from the left-hander, but the homer, a couple of walks, those guys scored in a 3-run inning for the Razorbacks. Addressed the team after their come-from-behind win yesterday. He was going through a weather report. Oh, it might rain tomorrow. Could do that. He was doing the whole spiel. Colin Fisher gave up the home run to Brock in the 6th. His teammates scored 3 runs in the bottom of the frame to even up this game. And back to the top of the lineup, Walk, Johnson, and LaChance in the 7th. Oklahoma's had leads of 5-1 and 7-4 today.
Well, according to Radar, it does look like it could pop up within the next hour. I don't think it's anything hard.
Feels a little sticky outside, though, doesn't it?
This is exactly what Colin Fisher does not want to do, is walk the first batter you face after clawing back and tying this game up.
He stranded a runner at third last inning. That was Harris, who swiped a couple of bases to get to third base. This is first full inning. 4th pitcher used by the Razorbacks today. Gibbler, Eves, Dawson, and then Colin Fisher. Grounded foul. Pompey went into a dive, but across the chalk as that went into the corner.
That was pretty close.
Skip Johnson trying to get out of here with a win. His team has lost 4 straight. Skip, going into last Saturday, was at 297 wins as a head coach, and he's not chipped away any closer to 300.
I think that's the least stat he's worried about right now.
No, you're right.
He wants to figure out how to get a W here in
But
Fayetteville.
his bullpen has had a few blips today that has not made it a lot of fun. There's another one hit in the same spot and fouled outside of third. And listen, the Sooners came into this weekend in the same spot as Arkansas, kind of projected to be a 2 seed. Then the question is where? What will your metrics finish at with RPI and strength of schedule? Can you make a push? Can you finish strong? Can you carry that into Hoover and then beyond? Another 3-2. Hit foul down the line and right. You know, the one thing about Skip, though, Troy, he really helped out Arkansas for a number of years when he was a junior college coach, sending players here, including Jess Todd from Navarro.
Yeah, he had some big-time names, and yeah, just a great coach and so fun to talk to.
Here's another payoff pitch. That's grounded to short. Right to Kojal, flips to first, and that's a win for the Razorbacks because Walk was ahead in the count 3-0 before Fisher fought back and got the ground out.
Well, he hit that ball right on the button, and he still almost beat that thing out.
It was Jess Todd, though, that in the 2007 SEC tournament struck out 17 batters against South Carolina, and that record stood until Gage Wood had the 19 Ks in the no-hitter in Omaha.
Right. That was, I remember that performance down in Hoover.
And that was a product from Skip to DVH. Camden Johnson, left on left, takes strike one. I didn't realize, though, that Chris Davis, the big first baseman, was a guy who played for Johnson at Navarro, who was coming here before he
signed professionally.
That's right. A long big league career, a lot of home runs, some struggles at the very end. 0-2 to Johnson, who's been on base every single time today. 2 walks and a single. He scored a couple of runs, but he's going to have to hit on the terms of Colin Fisher here. Not close.
I think that's one of those 0-2 pitches that Fisher's going, you're not going to hit this one. It's going to be 3 feet
right.
outside.
I think he might have sent Bubba into a tailspin had he given up an 0-2 hit. Fisher winds and delivers, not close again. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
About 17 inches of horizontal break.
Most of it from the outside corner to the right-handed batter's box. Wave and a miss. Fisher's retired 4 straight.
Well, you don't see that happen very often. A really good hitting Camden Johnson. That's just a filthy breaking ball. It's almost unhittable.
Do you think he was setting up Johnson at all, throwing a couple of pitches that finished way out of the zone, then starting that breaking ball at him and breaking back over the plate?
I don't think so. I think that was, he didn't want to give up an 0-2 hit and then just missed with those pitches.
You start looking away and that pitch is coming at you, it's really tough to.
If he's that good, then I'm incredibly impressed. I see where you're going with that. I mean, anything to change the eye level and then maybe make you think that, okay, I'm going to give up on this one a little bit.
Once you start looking away and then a pitch looks like it's at you, you're probably not going to be in a position to stop and swing. And
right.
Johnson was it. LaChance had a 3-run homer in the first, an RBI single in the third, but he hit into a double play back in the 5th.
LaChance is trying to take all of his time right here before he gets those. That was at 9 seconds. His eyes were up and ready to hit. You have to get in and do it before 8 seconds.
We've seen more gamesmanship with that timer from both hitters and pitchers this year, haven't we, than years past?
Really have. You can see that LaChance, he knew that ball was down and away. The Razorback crowd's really starting to get into this ball game.
A little feisty right now. 2-1 pitch to LaChance. That's in, and fans upset. That young man's been apoplectic a couple of times.
That would have been nice to see the 3D strike zone on that last pitch.
LaChance might come out of his shoes. He doesn't. That's ball 4. 2-out walk. Troy, that's not the worst thing in the world, though.
No, I don't think so. When you've got a guy that's absolutely red hot, and you just got to be really careful. No offense to Jackson Willits, who is really dangerous at the plate, but Dayton LaChance is just on a different level right now.
That kid just say, "Come on, Blue."
He's letting him have it, isn't he? That's going to be a conversation with Matt Hobbs right here. I think this might be one of those ones. Hey, let's not get too predictable with that breaking ball.
A few more strikes than balls for Fisher. Give up the 2-run homer to Brock, but then after a single to Harris, he retired the final 2 that he faced and the first 2 this inning. Before that, walk to LaChance. And again, not the worst case scenario if he can retire Jackson Willits. Certainly, as you think about facing a right-handed power hitter, with the conditions today, a walk might not be the worst thing. Willits is a good hitter, but he has only the 4 home runs. Yesterday, the Sooners tied a season high with 4 long balls.
Ethan McIlvain, Arkansas's closer, is starting to warm up in the bullpen.
Sooners started this game today 14th in the league in the long ball category. And that was after the 4 yesterday and 3 more this afternoon. Looked to be a little bit out, but called a strike.
That's a big pitch right there. That could be 2 balls, no strikes. Now it's 1-1 on a borderline pitch. Again, I think that was another one stolen by Ryder Helfrich.
I'd like to know the number of pitches it feels like he has framed up and maybe stolen just this weekend alone. That's in.
A lot more fastball heavy by Colin Fisher. I think all 3 pitches have been fastballs. He is in a lather over there, isn't he?
He's letting Jeff Wright hear it. On the corner, called strike.
Jackson Willett saying, I don't know if I've seen a strike in 4 pitches.
I tend to agree.
And he come back with that cutter down and in.
Got a piece to foul it back, stay alive.
I almost think that's a gift for Arkansas, because if he doesn't make contact, he's standing at first base, but maybe that foul tip kept Ryder Helfrich from catching that baseball.
Sometimes these Sunday games can get a little bit ugly. That wasn't the case last week, but it feels like this game has gotten into that spot where every pitcher and batter knows that every pitch might be the one that decides this game.
I think so.
The 2-2. Fouled back will do it again, and sometimes, Troy, that means taking a little bit longer to make that pitch, or just the hitter going for a bit of a stroll around the batter's box before he settles back in.
I think everybody's trying to slow their heart rate down right here. Probably the best fastball Colin Fisher's thrown right there at 93.
Some giddy up.
Yeah, good job by Willits to foul that one off.
Can Willits deliver? Well, he strokes one out to left. Hit well. Ruiz is at the fence, ready to leap high, but it is going to disappear. Jackson Willits just clears the yellow line with the 2-run homer. And the Sooners are back in front. It's a 9-7 game. It was Willits who made the error yesterday that led to a big inning and a Arkansas comeback. That one felt good for the Sooner shortstop.
Well, off the bat, that was just a great swing. He went down and got that baseball. Not a bad breaking ball. Watch where he hits this pitch. That is down in the zone, and he didn't even really follow through with this swing. Watch him really cut that swing off right there. Got just enough, 379 and a half feet.
It feels like Ruiz has been so close to robbing home runs this year, Troy. He needed maybe one more stride or step just to give him a chance. He might have made an effort at that one.
Yeah, I think so. It got out pretty quickly. This is an offensive timeout right here, really trying to slow Colin Fisher down. Huge swing for the Sooners, and you just feel like that the drama is not done in Fayetteville.
Entering the game yesterday, the Sooners had 48 home runs. They've hit 8 in the last 2. And Troy, just going back to what I mentioned, when it feels like every pitch could decide a game, and had we gone back and seen where that pitch was delivered by Fisher and kind of that cutoff swing from Willits, I would not have thought in any other day that would have been a home run.
Well, he hit that ball right on the barrel. It was just great contact, and
Is that strength? Is that his ability to muscle up a little bit?
I think so. I think it's just when you hit the ball in the sweet spot, it's going to go.
That's a base runner. Gamble, who had been 0 for 3.
Boy, if you think back, this inning started with a ground ball to short, a strikeout, and the Arkansas crowd was really getting fired up. Fisher was really, careful pitching to Dayton LaChance, and then Jackson Willits comes in and has the big swing.
He's got that man talking to himself. Brendan Brock homered in the 6th, hit one to DVH's office that rattled around some of that furniture just outside of his window. (9-7) Oklahoma, and there's a lot of baseball left. We started an hour earlier today than yesterday, but it feels like it's late afternoon with the overcast skies and some crooked numbers over the course of this game. See, Brock's home run pushed him to double figures. Helfrich sets the target. Well, that's pretty much right down the chute for a called strike. Colin Fisher trying to end this inning. Blistered out to right for a base hit. Gamble's going to turn second and go to third. Stewart plays it back in quickly. Gamble will hold at third base. Brock with another base hit. That is 4 straight, Troy, that have reached with 2 outs.
I wouldn't be surprised if DVH doesn't make a pitching change right here. You really can't afford any more runs. I think they're going to stick with Fisher, but that was a great swing by Brendan Brock. He's just found that opposite field power. It was a rocket at 106.
Harris singled against Fisher an inning ago. A couple of strikeouts earlier in this game. Often rolling is Brock. How about that move? Looks like we're back to travel baseball.
Little league move right there.
A couple of times yesterday, felt like LaChance was about to take out his own pitcher with throws down to second base. That was back to the mound and caught by Fisher, but there's a couple of Sooners in scoring position. Hit from Harris would be huge for OU. Fisher knows that, and he delivers a strike.
Remember, yesterday Harris had a pair of home runs.
Pitch carries and drifts out of the zone. Over 50 pitches now in this relief appearance from Colin Fisher. Entered back in the 6th with nobody out. Trying to get through the top of the 7th. And misses, nibbles on that outside corner, a little bit low, maybe a little bit outside. 3-1. Drew Dickerson, who homered earlier in this game, is on deck. And that is strike 2. Harris had tossed his bat aside.
I'm surprised they're not starting the pitch clock already. There it goes.
Jeff Wright said something to Harris, who didn't look up as he circled back behind the plate umpire and climbs back into the box. Fans trying to will Colin Fisher to a final out of the inning. And that is ball 4. Harris's reaction, Troy, was as if he thought he was going to be rung up. He threw his hands in the air, almost anticipating strike 3. And sometimes once you throw that bat away and you come back in the box, you don't get the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Watch his reaction here.
That's way off. Oh, he's saying that's that far outside. I said that one's
wasn't
outside
that far
by a
outside.
foot. No.
5 straight have reached with 2 outs. And DVH is on his way out to the mound to make a pitching change. So often on a Sunday, it's a race between 2 head coaches to find a pitcher who can come out of that bullpen and slow this game down. See if Brissy is the answer for the Razorbacks. Razorback pitcher number 5, and Troy, this is not an easy scenario. It's been a while since we've seen Brissy, and he inherits a bases-loaded 2-out scenario in the 7th inning.
Yeah, it's definitely a mess right here for Brissy, and the thing that jumps out than me a little bit is those 11 walks in that 15 and a third innings. He's got good stuff. The fastball is going to sit low to mid 90s, kind of that low three-quarter arm slot. So a lot of run with that fastball, and sometimes that's the hard part about trying to keep it in the zone.
It's been over 3 weeks since he last appeared in a game, April 18th against Georgia, and gave up 4 runs in an inning. This is Dickerson, who homered back in the second. Bases full of Sooners. Oklahoma back up by 2. Wave and a miss at 96 mph.
I like the aggressiveness of Dickerson right there. You come in there and you get something you want to hit, take a rip. That's 97 on the TrackMan.
Gamble at third, Brock at second, Harris at first.
Again, Brett, sometimes you see those three-quarter arm slot guys, just the release point and the consistency sometimes isn't there, and you might have those guys yank one to the backstop.
I think you're onto something. But he's heading the count 1-2 as Brissy in front of Drew Dickerson.
I don't think Brissy's going to be cute right here. I think he's just going to keep throwing the fastball.
I'm with you, though. A little bit of concern about him yanking one away from the right-handed hitter. He's certainly been in the zone so far. Poked out to right. This ball starts to carry. Stewart racing back, looking up, and it's going to clear the yellow line. Drew Dickerson will hit the grand slam for the Sooners and float around the bases. Looked like somewhat of a routine line drive towards the warning track area, but it carried. Stewart could not rob it. And what an inning for OU.
Wow, just an absolutely huge swing off the bat. You're right. It looked like just a line drive out to right field. The wind's blowing that way and just kind of cut it. Did Drew Dickerson, but you can see that one just snuck out over the fence there. I think if Stewart has a chance to get there, he might have a shot at catching that baseball.
I would agree. He had too long of a run. Troy, this inning started with the bases empty and 2 outs, and the Sooners have scored 6 runs. That is a rally to say the least.
Well, that's a team that just hasn't hung their head after kind of losing the first 2 games.
And that's 9 home runs in the 2 games for the Sooners after they were run ruled on Friday, 12-2. Strike to Branch, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Branch is the only Oklahoma Sooner who has not scored a run today.
Oh, wow.
And he's 0 for 3. Sundays again becomes a scenario for these respective head coaches where you keep going to the bullpen and you try to find one guy who you can ride. And I think both of these coaches this deep into the game are still trying to find that person.
Well, you think back about how come Brissy didn't throw a breaking ball with 2 strikes to Drew Dickerson. Well, the bases loaded really kind of was a factor in that situation. You've got a freshman that's walked 11 and 15 and a third innings. And if you're Ryder Helfrich, you're like, okay, I don't want to put extra pressure on him to try to throw a breaking ball out of the zone. Now he might miss with a couple fastballs and walk in a run. The fastball is up to 97. You just kind of challenge the hitter, and he had a better swing than the pitch.
Well said. That's way in. But obtaining that third out has been laborious. Branch, the 9th Sooner to bat this inning. Can Brissy end it? Poked it to right for a base hit, so Branch the last Sooner to reach today, and he'll turn this lineup over and bring Walk back to the plate, who grounded out to short way back when to begin this inning. And wasn't Walk ahead in the count 3-0 before Fisher battled back and got him to bounce out?
Yeah, I think so. Arkansas has Tate McGuire warming up down in the bullpen.
We saw McGuire for an inning yesterday. Walk is 1 for 4. Big healthy wave and a miss at 94 with a fastball from Brissy. Arkansas has won 6 SEC series, but you get greedy as a team when you win the first 2 games trying to find that sweep. The Sooners, desperate for a win, have continued to respond over and over this afternoon.
Yeah, they really have, and you got to give them a lot of credit. Again, you don't feel like they've really pressed in this ball game like you'd see some teams do when you've lost the first 2.
When it gets late in the year, I would say that's easier said than done because you feel the urgency a little bit.
I think so, and then you kind of follow the head coach with that demeanor and the calmness.
Good point. A delayed steal attempt from Branch, and that throw nearly ends up in center.
Well, nobody was even covering, and nobody even helped Ryder Helfrich. There was not. That's Carter Rutenbar's job over there at first base. He has got to shout out runner. Watch how delayed this throw is by Helfrich. He tries to frame that pitch. He goes, I'm throwing it anyway. Somebody better get there.
It's a great play by Kojal. You've heard a lot of people say over the years a team will take on the personality of its head coach. You think about how wildly up and down the Florida Gators have been this year. Think about Sully and riding that wave of emotions. I mean, you could see them following that roller coaster because that's a little bit how he is. You love his energy. At times it's a lot, and Walk will take the walk. And Troy, this is now 11 men that have come to the plate this inning for the Sooners.
Yeah, just a great inning by Oklahoma. And again, the way the ball's flying out of here, I don't think any lead is safe.
No, I would agree, and it gets back to what Dave told his team after the win yesterday. You got to hang around and stay close so that you can make a push late. Sooners lost leads of 5-1 and 7-4, but they are looking for even more separation with Camden Johnson. This might be the last guy I would like to see up in this scenario.
Yeah, a guy that has really good bat control. That's going to do it. DVH is out. He's seen enough pitches outside the strike zone. He's going to go get his freshman.
Battle of the bullpens indeed, but the Sooners have put up a 6-run 7th inning and still looking for more. Who pitched an inning yesterday finds himself back in this game, second time in as many days, with the 4.46 earned run average, approaching 40 innings.
Yeah, DVH is trying to find somebody that just can throw some strikes and try to get the Razorbacks off the field. But again, we've said it a couple times, but this inning began with a ground out to short by Jason Walk. Camden Johnson struck out, and then the merry-go-round started for the Sooners.
That kid was invested earlier. He was wanting strikes, and now he has been taken out of this game. Troy, and the phone comes out.
Yeah, and his demeanor's completely changed. He's like, I got to get through this inning. It's all I've got to just watch this.
40 years will come back, and he'll be in that same seat, yelling at the umpires. Well, Camden Johnson struck out earlier this inning. So he is batting for the second time, trying to not make 2 outs. The only time he was retired today was that K. That was against Fisher. That was 2 pitchers ago.
I have no idea, but I would almost bet the farm that Camden Johnson has not made 2 outs in the same inning this season, the way he swings the bat.
He took a pitch right down the chute. It's not much fun because every one of your teammates is excited, they're invested, they're involved, and you're making 2 outs. A 6-run 7th for the Sooners. Arkansas just trying to end it. Big healthy wave and a miss. Breaking ball.
And that's what happens when you get up there. You get a pitch and the bottom just falls out of it.
That was the cutter, right?
That was a really good pitch by Tate McGuire. Let's see that one again.
Lifted out to shallow center. New's going to have to race to come in and get this baseball, and it will drop Another run will score. The throw to third, close and out. Walk is erased. The Sooners want a review. Walk was almost in a sprinter's stance, taking a huge lead at first, and with 2 outs, Troy, I was surprised that was close.
Yeah, and then the home plate umpire, Jeff Wright, said no matter what happens, the run scored. You saw Mike Anu
Walk's
just
not running. He thinks that's going to be a catch, Troy.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
That's why he wasn't going hard.
Heads up by Mike Anu. This is a bang play. I almost think he's safe, but boy.
Troy, that can't happen with 2 outs, the ball in the air. You can't assume that it's going to be caught and jog to second base.
You've got to be busting it. That's not knowing the outs. That's a great pick by T.J. Pompey to scoop it and make the tag at the same time.
Can you tell?
I think you have to call that an out. And third base umpire James Ainsworth was absolutely right. Look how close he is on top of that play.
Is he tagging the cleat?
I think he's tagging
back
the
of
cleat.
the shoe.
I don't think there's any way you can overturn that.
9 straight Sooners reached with 2 outs, and Arkansas might catch a break if they get that out after the base hit to end what has been a 7-run Sooner 7.
Or does that front foot come off the base when the glove is on the back foot?
Again, that was a great job from our crew to show Walk, who had a huge lead at first, kind of jogging towards second, I guess, assuming that fly ball was going to be caught. And then the throw from Mike Anu resulted in an out called on the field, and now we're reviewing that play.
I just don't understand how you could change that call.
Just can't tell exactly if that glove is on the shoe, I guess, because indeed it was called out on the field. Feel like that should stand. Just a cloud of dust does not help. It's not the fog they had in Como.
I mean, that's bang, but yeah, you cannot make that mistake.
Micah wants an outfield assist. Everybody wearing Razorback colors wants this inning to end. 2 outs, nobody on base. 9 batters later, the Sooners have scored 7.
I'm not a lip reader, but let's see what happens.
Kevin Sweeney looking cool, ready to give us an explanation.
Play. The call on the field is safe. Runners at second and third. Oklahoma still has 2 challenges.
Troy, help me out. We thought that was going to be hard to overturn.
I guess the front foot stayed on the base while the back foot made contact. Do you just walk Dayton LaChance right here? I do. I just put him at first base.
LaChance was the man who walked about a half an hour ago with the bases empty and 2 outs in the 7th. Credit to the Sooners for keeping the pedal down, and LaChance hammers one. Foul. That ball just disappeared into the sky as well. His home run in the first inning is 8th in the last 16 games, so all 8 of his homers on the season have come as of late. Hard hit, but to short. Kojal's throw mercifully ends this 7th inning. Arkansas has some work to do. Football score. Sooners over the Razorbacks 14-7.
Us is the streaming home of Disney and Pixar.
I've lost track of the Sooners home runs today. Take over on this game summary,
Yeah,
whatever interests you.
It's been really crazy. Dickerson with the big grand slam, and it was a ball off the bat that you really didn't think it was going to get out. But 5 bombs by the Sooners today has just made that separation happen. It's going to be a huge uphill battle for Arkansas, and they're going to have to be pretty patient at the plate and find a way to get some base runners.
Skip still looking at that chart, seeing what he's got left from a pitching standpoint. Certainly, I think that inning gave him a little bit of cushion, so to speak.
Well, there's an army of bodies down in the Sooner bullpen. I'm not sure who can really throw. We've got one right-hander tossing a little bit.
Tossing a football. Damian Ruiz been on base a couple of times, a walk and an HBP. Sooners got a new pitcher as well. They're just running him in there. This is Jason Bowden. Everyday Jason Bowden, who also pitched yesterday, 2/3 of an inning. Faced Ruiz, and Damian got an RBI single against him.
Yeah, I think Arkansas definitely is in take till you get a strike mode. You can see Ruiz right there just doing that on a fastball right down the chute. Got a fastball with a little bit of run on that one. Got right up under his hands.
Every win is important from an RPI standpoint, a conference win standpoint. Arkansas had 15 SEC wins, Troy. A win today, of course, 16. Thinking about maybe getting to 18. 18 wins with a win today and 2 at Kentucky, or a loss today and 3 at Kentucky. Almost seems to be in that territory where it's hard to ignore their possibility to be a hosting site.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. 18 is kind of the magical number that you're pretty much a shoe-in to host.
Second time today that Ruiz has been hit by a pitch.
If you're going to get hit off the guard right there.
Arkansas came in at 15-11, a tie for 5th place in the conference. Auburn at 16-11. Texas was 15-10, but we know that the top 4 teams receive a double bye. The top 8 teams receive a double bye in Hoover, which is a single elimination tournament. And for the first time in a while, maybe Arkansas might need Hoover to kind of expand its case if they lose today and don't, say, sweep at Kentucky, and that will not be easy. Just winning series on the road at all is tough. As Koshel, who hit a 3-run homer his last at bat, steps in again.
If you're trying to look for a positive note, Arkansas scored 3 in the 5th and 3 in the 6th. And you almost feel like being down 7, you've got to get 3 right here. Or some crooked number.
Ground ball served into right for a base hit. LaChance and Branch both looked at each other, and that ball went between them. And Ruiz goes to third.
Man,
the Razorbacks in business.
I'm really shocked that Ruiz did go to third base right there, being down 7 runs. That was a really strong throw by Harrison. It was, I think, closer than Damian Ruiz thought it was going to be.
That was a hose from Harris.
It was a rocket. We have not seen very good throws in our several years working together, but that one was impressive.
As much as Oklahoma's relievers have struggled a bit, if you're the Sooners, this man has to give you something in Bowden. And here's Helfrich, who takes strike 1. This is where you lean on Bowden and say, you may give up a run or 2, but I need outs.
Right.
Helfrich's going to pop one up, back it out of play. Aloya's waiting on deck, and don't go anywhere. I got a note that you don't want to miss. So don't run to the refrigerator. Okay. Wait until Cahillo bats, because I've got a follow-up note for you today.
Got a little nugget.
I have got a great nugget. Off the end of the bat from Helfrich. But you're right, Arkansas did put up 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. Can things travel in 3s, 3 straight innings?
You feel like that they need something right here.
That one will go to the backstop. Another run. The Razorbacks have scored this year on a wild pitch.
That's got to be close to 20.
I think we've reached that number. It has been one of their best offensive weapons of the season. Just get to third base and wait for somebody to hit the ball. Throw one to the backstop.
What takes away the double play, and that could be big.
And Bowden paints strike 3. to Helfrich. It's a big first out.
I don't think Helfrich thought he was going to see a fastball in that situation, but you're right. Perfect location by Jason Bowden.
18 runs off wild pitches or pass balls. I feel like we've missed a few in our stat system because it feels like about 40. All right, here comes Kuhio Aloy, who homered in the 6th inning, Troy. Homered for his mom on Mother's Day, his 9th of the season. His dad joined us in the booth. Vahiva today is 3 for 3, 3 home runs.
Wow.
The Aloy brothers have hit 4 homers for Mom today.
That's crazy.
And they're not done. You still don't want to do the rap because the Bash brothers coming today, Troy.
They are swinging the bat and swinging it well. I don't think you have to worry if Kuhio is going to put in a home run swing. It's just what's that result going to develop into.
Goodness. Brock can't find the baseball and it dribbles to the backstop. You and I love baseball. We can't live without baseball. But the beauty of some of these Sunday games starts to dissipate.
It does. It makes you kind of scratch your head and said, how can that happen?
How does that happen? Three infielders on the left side of the diamond. Aloy has a couple of hits today, including that home run. And he took a big wave and a miss.
I kind of felt like Kuhio of last month. I think he had his mind made up before that ball left Bowden's hand. He was going to swing at it.
Wave and a miss. So Bowden, to his credit, got the K to Helfrich looking, the strikeout to Aloy swinging, and there's 2 gone. And that's where you lean on this veteran to get you some outs.
Yeah, a couple great pitches right there, some sweeping breaking balls, and it all sets up with a good fastball that you can't ignore that fastball, so you have to sit on it, and then when you get that big sweeper, it's tough to lay off.
Here's Souza.
Man, he almost yanked another one right there.
He did. I was talking about Bowden a season ago, Troy. 31 appearances in relief. Second most in the SEC.
If you're Cannon Kojo, you better be on your toes over there.
Yeah, we might add to that total again soon to see another runner trot home from third on a wild pitch, because about every third pitch from Bowden has been a little bit erratic. Sometimes when you bring a pitcher into the game, is he fired up again or is he okay?
He's starting to get worked up.
He wants ball 4. Strike instead. Sometimes you bring in a pitcher, Troy, and you start thinking, I need 2 innings out of this guy. And then you're a third of an inning or 2/3 of an inning in, and you're like, I just want an inning.
Right.
Just get me 1. Hard hit, but foul. Nolan walked and scored last inning, but he's trying to get Kozel home from third base. Payoff pitch. Poked out to center for a base hit. Kozel home to score. It's a 14-9 game.
Just a fister right there by Nolan Souza. Again, you just felt like Arkansas, if they even have any kind of a chance in this ball game, had to put up at least a couple runs in this 7th inning.
New is 0 for 2. He has walked. He scored. All right, I got another thought for you.
I bring it.
For the 18 position players that started, counting the DHs for these two teams, only 2 players haven't scored today.
Wow.
Helfrich, who leads this team in runs scored, is one of those. Zach Stewart is the other.
Okay.
I don't know how much more you can watch a Bowden if he can't calibrate a little bit. And again, Troy, he just goes through these 2 or 3 pitch spells where he isn't quite around the zone enough.
When you think about the 2 pitches that on the strikeouts, those were pitches well off the plate, just had such great movement. And being able to throw the fastball in the outside corner for a strike kind of makes that hitter chase that breaking ball off the plate.
Hard hit to third, but it kicks off the glove of Johnson. Well, the Sooners yesterday could not get the third out, misplaying some ground balls. TrackMan didn't show the exit velocity of that one. Certainly wasn't easy, but when your pitcher's struggling to get a third out, you get a ground ball, you want to make a play.
Waiting to see if they're going to officially score that as a single or an error. You'd almost have to think it was an error.
Probably agree. Regardless, here's Stewart. So after Aloy struck out for the second out of the inning, Souza single, New reached. Stewart socks one to right field. Harris coming in with the jump catch. That was some flair. That was fun. Hogs get a couple of runs, but they also strand a pair of base runners. Oh, it's fun this time of the year to kind of check the results around the country. Here's a man that hasn't seen action since April the 2nd in James DeCramer.
Yeah, it's been a while, and again in the fall and early spring, you felt like he was going to get called upon quite often. Had a couple rocky appearances, and you can see only the 10 1/3 innings, but he's got a guy with a big arm. He'll sit in the low to mid 90s.
Willits is going to lead off. A 2-run homer last inning to break up a tie game and takes a strike. So in the top of the 7th inning, the Sooners scored 7 runs on 5 hits. They had a grand slam and a 2-run homer. Then Arkansas scores 2 in the bottom of the inning on a couple of hits and strand a pair of runners.
Back-to-back changeups by DeCramer.
There were a couple of projections maybe a week or 2 ago that had Arkansas potentially going to a regional in Corvallis, which would be interesting for DeCramer, who transferred from Oregon State. Willits strokes one out to left center field. Getting a little bit humid and misty around the yard now, and New will track it down to make the catch to begin the top of the 8th inning.
Feels like it's gotten a lot cooler, but the thermometer hasn't agreed.
Feels considerably cooler than just a half hour ago.
Still says 72.
This is Gamble. Got a bit of a hanger. Skies it to center. Again, New has it measured. They're waiting. 2 outs. How about UCLA, though, winning 27 consecutive conference games going back to last year, starting this year 25-0 before they lost to Oregon. And Oregon's another one of those teams right in the mix with Arkansas. West Virginia defeated Kansas. They're another.
That's just hard to comprehend.
At times, the Big Ten has almost been too easy. Because keep this in mind, if Arkansas would be in line to be that final host, as Brock takes strike one, more than likely the #1 seed is going to be
UCLA.
That's right. So a potential super regional if you want to just really get crazy and look ahead. And we know better than to do that at any great stakes. With another conference series to go, then Hoover and the regionals. But hey, we've got time, Troy, because we're 3 hours and
It's
13
getting deep
minutes.
in this ball game.
Yes.
Got a lot of pondering that we can do.
We can ponder all day long. Brock is homer today. But on Friday, we had a 6.5 inning game that went 2 hours, 16 minutes. Felt like we were trending to 4 hours yesterday, and we're trending towards 4 hours today. So we've been all over the map when it comes to time in these games. So appreciate all of our fans all season long that have tuned in to follow their Razorbacks through thick or thin.
They've kind of rode the waves of this Razorback ball club this season.
Don't
for
we
sure.
always? Sky's falling, going to win the Natty. Kind of bounce back and forth between those two. To Kramer, paints to Brock. Hey, that was fun for DeCramer.
It really was. He really came out there and slammed the door, giving Arkansas a chance. They're still down 14-9.
And of course, Tennessee is the team that will travel to Oklahoma City next weekend. And TJ Pompey takes a strike from Bowden. Remember in that Vanderbilt, Missouri game, they had to suspend a contest a couple of nights ago because of the fog, and there was a ball hit to the outfield that they ended up calling a ground rule double that Vanderbilt thought was a home run. SEC put out a statement, Troy, and they said there was no video evidence available to overturn the call due to low visibility, which to me makes me wonder, why were you playing in low visibility?
I know, that's kind of a question. I would almost say no visibility.
1-2 to Pompey.
I mean, you couldn't see the outfielders. You could barely see the infielders.
And, of course, we've got the TrackMan readings. So the ball traveled a distance that could have easily been a home run, but it disappeared. And the Tigers said it bounced over the fence, and that was the call in the field. And it ended up costing Vanderbilt the game, I believe.
It really did. Yeah, they did not win that ball game. And TJ Pompey, if he had that to do over again, he would have kind of rolled into that breaking ball.
Pompey has 3 runs batted in today. Might have another. Slaughter to left, way back. How about some pomp and circumstance on a graduation weekend for TJ Pompey? His second home run of the day. That was launched 444 feet into the trees. An absolute no-doubter. And both teams in double figures. It's a 14-10 game, and even that young man is finally satisfied.
And that's going to bring Skip Johnson out of the dugout. But, hey, if you're not going to take one for the team, then just hit a home run on the next pitch.
He was down in the count 0-2, and then this ball was absolutely launched. There wasn't a Sooner outfielder that even bothered to flinch, let alone move.
Yeah, watch the outfielders. They don't even take a step. They didn't even watch how far it went. That ball was absolutely crushed, 444 feet. No matter what the outcome of this ball game, if you're Dave Van Horn, you've got to like the fight in your team.
You do. But if you're Skip Johnson, you're saying, bro, we got a 7-run lead, just get some outs.
Right.
And that's not happening. So he's going to make another call to the bullpen. 14-10, bottom of the 8th. Be right back. Next man up is Gavin Jones, another McLennan JUCO product.
17 2/3 innings. He's given up 21 hits and 12 walks in that time. He does have 18 punch-outs. Another big arm. He's going to sit mid to upper 90s. Might even touch 98. And, boy, I tell you what, opponent's hitting 300 off the left-hander. Looks like pretty even. Lefty's hitting 313, right-handers 289.
This is Rutenbach. Rolled into a double play to end the 6th.
And you're going to see Arkansas take till they get a strike. When you're down 4, you can't hit a 4-run homer, but you can sure try to get some base runners.
So 9-1-2 after the home run from Pompey started this inning.
Well, we've seen some absolute power arms out of that bullpen of the Sooners. I mean, it really kind of reminds you of Florida.
Wave and a miss. We were going through some of the news and notes around the SEC and talking about Tennessee and how they scored in every inning. They had 6 home runs yesterday in that game, Troy. We've seen the Sooners with 5 and I believe Arkansas with 4, and we're not done.
The ball is really starting to fly out late in the season.
Boy, that looked pretty good.
Kevin Jones won it, and so did Brock the catcher.
Arkansas still has 6 outs with which to work. I was talking about that A&M doubleheader with the Rebels. A&M hit 9 home runs in the 2 games but lost. They had a 18-5 win, and then, of course, you turn around and lose the second game. Ben Royo went 7 for 7 with 3 homers in the doubleheader.
Oh, what a pitch.
Rutenbar rung up. Good pitch from Jones.
That's a day to remember. I mean, 7 for 7 with 3 bombs.
You can't do much better than that.
That's what Skip Johnson was waiting to see. Like throwing 95 and then just dropping a nice breaking ball right there. If you're Arkansas, you feel like you really need another run in this inning to give yourself a chance to just have to scratch back 2 in the bottom of the 9th.
Ruiz will take a low strike. It was a year ago that Gavin Jones made 22 appearances on the mound, but was 3 for 3 as a hitter.
Oh, wow.
So he was perfect.
Just in.
Well, Damian has been on base 3 times, but he's 0 for 1. Twice he has been hit by a pitch. He's also walked, but he scored a pair of runs, so doing what a leadoff hitter is supposed to do.
Well, Jones definitely wants to throw strikes. You don't want to give any free base runners.
Well, this is the 8th inning. This is the Razorbacks frame. Troy, we were putting up the graphic yesterday when Arkansas scored 7 runs in the 8th. In all their success, for whatever reason, I guess, you always have one inning which a team outscores another by a wide margin, but it's come so late in the game, and it's come in the fact that Arkansas has had 10 different run rule wins, which shorten games, as Ruiz is on again. Hogs have outscored their opponents 58-18. I believe if you just go back in April and May games, last month plus, it's been 34-7, now 35-7 in the 8th inning. And DeCramer did his job on the top of this inning to get 3 quick outs. But that's a number that is hard to explain.
Right. That is just never seen that before type of statement.
Kojal's 3-run homer in the 5th was one of the big blows for the Razorbacks, and one that Oklahoma's continued to respond to and answer. Can Kojal answer back?
Good job by Gavin Jones to jump out really quickly to an 0-2 count.
Well, for Kojal, if he would homer here in this series, he would have a 2-run homer, a 3-run homer, and a grand slam. Grounded softly to second. A flip, a toss back to first. That's a double play. Well, the Sooners had a double play to end the 6th, and they get one to end the 8th, shortening this game as we go to the 9th inning. You get to the very end, and LSU and Vandy aren't in the regionals?
It's crazy.
Doesn't that feel weird?
That just does not feel right.
Deshaun Harris, a couple of homers yesterday. I enjoyed his jump catch
That was something.
into the 7th inning. He was a few feet in the air when he made that grab.
This ball might come back.
Pompey will drift over and reach around our camera, and he just about made the play.
Well, if Arkansas has a prayer to come back, they cannot allow another run. They're down 4.
Well, DeCramer, who hadn't pitched in almost 5.5 weeks, had a perfect 8th inning. Troy, you might just play your way back into that circle of trust.
Well, I think so. I mean, you're throwing 94, and then you're throwing an 80-mile-an-hour changeup. It's got great fade and a breaking ball that's pretty sharp. I'll tell you one thing, he's fresh.
Good point. He is indeed that. Is that a swing?
Oh, it is. That's a dandy changeup. That's been his best pitch so far, especially those left-handers.
That spin rate was low, and it got the wave and a miss. 9 strikeouts for Razorback pitchers. Every number is going to be in double figures today. Runs, potentially strikeouts, both teams in double figures in hits. Next home run in this game will be the 10th combined. This man's hit 2. Grand slam for Dickerson. He can't get his elbow guard going. One fan downstairs screamed at him, "Get in the box." Listen, when you've hit 2 home runs, you don't have to encourage somebody to climb back in there. That's a swing.
I mean, that breaking ball, you see a lot of guys, halfway to the plate, then the ball starts breaking. It looks like it's coming out like a wiffle ball out of DeCramer's hand. I mean, within feet of leaving his hand, it's got break on it. The thing that I really like about James DeCramer is it looks like every pitch he throws is max effort with his body language. And that's, as a hitter, you know, he doesn't slow down when he's throwing that changeup. It looks like he's going to put everything he's got.
I think that makes sense. Dickerson's had to hold his bat back a couple of times. Think about this, though. Troy, you mentioned that Branch came into this series with 1 home run, and he homered yesterday. Harris entered the game yesterday with 1 homer. He hit twice. Dickerson came into play today with 2 homers. He's homered twice.
That's been crazy.
Helfrich tried to bring that one back and frame it a bit, but the count 3-1 to Dickerson with Branch waiting in the on-deck circle. Good firm low strike.
Man, that had some really nice sink on it. Now, if you're Dickerson, you've seen all kinds of pitches. I don't think the only thing he hasn't seen is the changeup.
Here's the payoff. A little bit up, a little bit out. First base runner against DeCramer after he had set down the first 4, including a couple of strikeouts. Oh, he's fired up again, Troy.
He can't believe it.
Where'd that miss? Are those Hognoxious' old seats down there?
Yeah, I think it could be. Might be some kin.
Fans are downright surly below. They've been here at the ballpark at least for 3.5 hours. Want to see this 9th inning end to see if the Razorbacks have another comeback in store. But I'm with you. Another run from Oklahoma or more would deflate a little bit of that optimism.
Yeah, I think so. Arkansas would love to get a double play ground ball and get out of this.
14 runs on 12 hits for the Sooners, 10 runs, 10 hits for the Razorbacks. It's an Oklahoma dugout that would love to celebrate a win on their way back to Norman.
Make the bus ride a little bit easier.
You won't miss that bus, by the way, if you're on the freeway, because it's got the Sooners logos all over it.
Yeah. Pretty easy drive back to Norman right outside Oklahoma City.
Gets this time of the year in Norman, they start thinking softball regionals and supers. Shot out to right, a base hit off the bat of Branch. And it gets by Stewart and goes to the fence, and that means Dickerson is going to race all the way around and score, and Branch will coast into third base. Run number 15 for the Sooners. Did Stewart slip pursuing that liner? He went down.
I think that ball just skidded. I don't know if we've really had any precipitation, but it just skipped past him. I think the ball was hit on the button, 95 miles an hour off the bat of Branch. Oh, it is rainy. You can see the rain right there, and I think it really took off. Watch this ball just shoot on this next hop right there. That first hop, it just really took off.
Stewart had to chase. Now the infield in all the way around, and Jason walked back to the top of the lineup.
They're going to call that a single and an error, two-base error.
Walk takes a strike. I was not privy to the masterpiece that was 26-14 in that finale against Georgia. I was suffering through softball while listening to you and Josh Haley, texting you about 10 times each. I am here for 15-10, however, so I feel like, Troy, I've
It's not quite the same.
not been unscathed. But remember, though, it was the ninth inning that was the bugaboo in that game to really blow it out of proportion. And hope was that maybe DeCramer could have another quick ninth inning and get his team back up to the plate in the bottom. It will be a Helfrich, Aloy, and Souza trio, but for the Sooners, they're trying to get 16 runs if Walk can maybe get one by this drawn in infield. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Helfrich. That's a big second out.
That really is a big second out.
Every out's big at this point for any reason.
It is, and now you can push that infield back, but you've always got the dangerous Camden Johnson. Oh, my goodness. We've got some action going on above the dugout.
Sooners have been listening to that for about 4 hours. Here's Camden Johnson. 2 singles, 2 walks, 2 runs scored, and an RBI in this game. It means the Camdens for both teams have scored 4 runs and knocked in 4 runs. We're Camden heavy. It's Matt Hobbs. That's Nate Thompson. That's going to go retrieve the ball. He popped out of that dugout, but just to get the baseball thrown from the mound.
Kyle Branch is over there dancing around third base, trying to get in the vision of James DeCramer.
Seen one balk already today. Yeah, he's doing just that, isn't he? It's hard, even if you're not concentrating on Branch, to feel or sense that.
I would think so. Your peripheral vision is going to kind of pick that up.
Boy, DeCramer's lathered up, isn't he? Sweating through that hat.
Got some chains working there, too.
Line to first. Rutenbar the catch to end this inning. You said it wouldn't happen. Indeed, we are going to the bottom of the 9th inning. Helfrich, Aloy, and Souza due up for the Razorbacks, down by 5.
Hitters.
Remember in that 7th inning, though, it started with the bases empty and 2 outs before 9 straight men came to the plate.
That's absolutely right. It felt like that Arkansas was cruising.
Helfrich has struck out 3 times, which is a little bit odd. Johnson will charge, throw on the run. Big first baseman at first brings it in. And for the Sooners, there's a little bit of an exhale for a quick out to begin the bottom of the 9th inning as we get a little bit in that misty, sprinkly range here at Baum-Walker.
Ground balls might be a little slick as you field them, trying to throw that ball across the diamond.
Last chance to do the Hawaiian Heat song again, Troy.
I think I'll pass.
You pass?
The first effort was
You
less
disappoint
than
me.
stellar.
Although he has a couple of hits, including a home run. But Hogs need base runners.
Yeah, solo home runs aren't really going to help you in this situation. And then you can definitely see that rain coming down. It's still very light.
When we started way back when at 102, they had the lights on because of overcast skies, so we played all afternoon with the lights on here at Baum Walker, but certainly it has darkened up in the last 40 minutes with those sprinkles coming down. Cahillo's going all Gary Sheffield right now with that
really
bat, isn't he?
is.
I mean, he is violently bouncing that bat about 2 or 3 times before he calms it down right before the pitch, and he'll go through his pre-pitch routine here, but watch him really start snapping that bat.
He's got some happy feet in the box, doesn't he? Kind of bouncing around up there. Kevin Jones is trying to exhale and kind of slow that heart rate down a little bit. Let that one sail on him.
Jones is pitcher number 6 for the Sooners today. Grounded to short. Willits will scoop. Throws to first, close but out. That's a really nice play from Willits and a scoop from LaChance.
Oh, that is an absolute dynamite play by Jackson Willits. I mean, when he let go of that ball, he's almost standing over there by Johnson, the third baseman. Watch the range.
At full sprint, too.
Yeah, and he got rid of that ball and threw across his body, got quite a bit on that. Doesn't hurt to have a big first baseman, like you said. And LaChance went out and got that baseball before it hit the dirt.
See Jones with a clap of the hands. He appreciates that effort. Hogs down to their final out here. Souza, he takes a belt-high fastball at 95 for strike 1. Souza drove in a run back in the 7th when Arkansas was trying to negate some of the 7 runs the Sooners scored in the top of the inning. If Arkansas loses today, it'll be their 12th home loss of the year. They had 4 a season ago. This was their 6th SEC series victory, but they came in hopeful of getting the sweep, and OU was trying to end a losing skid of their own. Hogs down to their final strike. So we will wait, Troy, to see what next week brings in Hoover, to see if indeed this might be the final home game or whether the Hogs could be a host candidate for a region.
Yeah, I think that the 17 wins is going to put them in a lot of discussion.
Souza lifts one out to left center. Here comes Walk. He'll sprint in to make the catch and end the game, and the Sooners win it 15-10 to salvage Game 3 in the weekend series.
Yeah, nice bounce back by the Sooners right there. That ends a 4-game skid. You always got to be happy if you said before the series started you win 2 of 3 against the Sooners. You like that, but Arkansas felt like if they could get the sweep, it'd be big. But again, both teams kind of like they're in control of their own destinies. And great season, Brett. Always fun to work with you. And, Arkansas's got to go on the road and probably pick up 2 or 3 to be in that host conversation.
Indeed. Thanks to our viewers who tune in all season long to follow their Razorbacks. Been a long campaign. We'll all watch the Hogs be at Kentucky next week and then Hoover and beyond and see what the postseason brings. For Troy and our entire talented crew, I'm Brett Dolan thanking you for tuning in. Once again, our final score, that man says it best. It was a long day for the Hogs. Sooners win it 15-10. So long, good afternoon from Baum Walker Stadium.